You ever catch a stray punch, Austin?
Never been in a fight. Nope.
Knock on wood, because last time this happened.
Oh yeah, knock on the wood.
didn't
Last
mean anything
time
by
we were
that.
talking about getting punched in the face. We were like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
I think he asked us. He was like, "You boys ever been hit?"
Do you want to?
Yeah.
You don't want to have brain surgery and be like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sure."
Second week.
There are people who there was a GameCube in the med school, and I was like, "I'm gonna go wipe the floor with these kids."
Nerds.
Unreal how good they were at Super Smash Bros. Melee. Like, it was crazy. I fully believe your brain can manifest, your mind can manifest physical symptoms. No doubt.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt. It's
Right.
very weird.
Yeah.
There's a cool study. They told these guys, okay, we're going to have you all bench for like 8 weeks. Whoever gets the strongest, we're going to give you steroids for another 8 weeks. They took the guys who got the strongest, told them they were getting steroids. They didn't give them steroids. Those dudes got way stronger than they did the first few weeks when they weren't on when they didn't think they were on steroids.
Right. I used to have a traveling case for my Xbox so I could take it with me where I was going, and that way I could set up and game with you guys. So if somebody smashed that, I'd be like, bruh.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a good and a bad thing. How it is social, but at the same time, it's not social.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
You'd be
almost
extremely
like,
isolated.
yeah, you fake it. You feel like you're like socializing with people. You don't
Maybe I
get
should have
any of
just
the-
made like new friends where I was,
face-to-face.
and then
No.
No, at that time, especially at that time, when Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 1 first came out, that was like right around the time when that happened,
Yeah.
unfortunately for him. At the peak of like online Xbox. At least for us.
I think
guess
I'd just become friends with you guys, but he couldn't play. His Xbox got shattered.
damn.
thrown down a staircase.
Yeah, I was in PE with him, and yeah, I mean, one of the more interesting guys I've ever met.
For sure.
Character.
Definitely.
For his character, for sure. For sure. Love that guy.
Yeah, he put me on to freestyle rapping.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He's
yeah.
he's partially responsible for the entirety of this
company.
this office.
And
You know what I'm saying?
what about Adam? Adam El Sadi. You
Yeah,
remember
he
that?
was rapping too. He
Yeah.
was freestyling. Bro, I remember one of the first times, I think it was Adam and Zach, and then we were at like a Sonic, and then they
Yes,
were freestyling, right? You were there?
Yep.
Bruh, I don't know why, but Zach was just like goofy freestyling, rapping about stupid shit.
He was like strangely talented at the most random
It was
things.
good.
Yeah,
Or he was
no.
able to at least
He was good at
rhyme.
like Microsoft Excel, freestyling, I don't know,
NCAA football.
probably like baking croissants, but like he couldn't do math or basic functions.
Dude, oh my God.
That sounds like someone with a super high IQ. IQ's so high,
Yeah.
I struggle with the little stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Can see that.
He's
thinking
playing
here.
chess, not checkers.
Exactly.
Yeah, IQ test is
Life
checkers.
just has a lot of checkers in it.
Yeah.
You got to take care of too, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like seeing numbers. That's why he can't like do the normal human things because
Right.
the whole world around him is like
The Matrix.
math. Yeah.
I'm into that.
Matrix bending. Dude, yes, I'll do a quick little intro. Welcome in, everyone. We kind of just jumped into some conversation. MJ38 Show, episode number 67.
Damn, 2 away.
Flying by. Yeah.
Can't believe you couldn't find 2 more guests.
Come
before we-
on.
We can just backlog this one and call it 69.
There we go. Yeah, we'll put it
That's
on.
a good idea.
We'll put it on
actually. Yeah,
retainer.
redo the intro.
We'll put it on retainer. Wait, but this one might be 69. We'll find out.
Hey.
We got a couple of episodes coming
69
up.
special.
This next week. Yeah, this next week we're going to have a lot of pods lined up. But in the office, in the building, in the studio, we have one of my best friends, longtime best friends, Dr. Man, over here. Aggie, gig 'em to death. I forgot your practice exactly because I know you switched practices, right?
Radiology.
Now you're in radiology.
Pediatrics to radiology.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what happened. Got it. Radiologist.
Very confusing.
In the building, doing his thing. One of my longtime best friends, Austin Jones. Give it up for him.
All right,
Welcome,
yeah.
man. And also we have his lovely wife, Talia, in here as well. First live audience.
Thank you, audience, all 3 of you.
So excited to have an audience. This is really cool,
We'll
actually.
look for a loud applause.
It's a new experiment.
Yes. That was awesome. This is the new dynamic. I love it.
Yeah.
This is cool. New episode. But yeah, man, welcome in.
No problem. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, dude.
First doctor on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
We're getting a spread.
Oh,
We're getting.
no.
I like a nice spread. We had the nerdcore rapper. We had pizza owner. We have IV drip owner. Got a doctor in the building.
Yeah.
I actually have some friends, potential clients, guests, old people that I used to serve when I was working in the restaurants that are doctors that I would like to have on the show. So I feel like you're just breaking through the wall right now. You're
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah. Happy
Yeah,
to
we
be
do have
the-
Dr. A,
the
maybe
first.
potentially on retainer sometime in the near future.
Is that one of your?
Yeah, he was an old
Guys you
client of
met?
ours, and then
No, he was one of the investors in the old spot we used to work at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he frequented in. He was a super cool guy, but He'll be on eventually.
Yeah,
So-
I guess I meant like a guest at the restaurant we would take care of, and then there's several doctors that were guests at the restaurant that we would take care of that we got connected with that might be interested in coming on.
Oh, nice.
But I think they get a little nervous because anybody coming on a podcast, if you have like a brand and then you're not sure about what the brand of that podcast is, I think you're like, I don't know, what are you guys about? And then we're about everything. We're all over the
What
place.
am I
You know?
signing up for here?
Yeah.
Well, no brand.
A. Jones Pones, dude.
Literally nothing going on in my life. Really, that's interesting. So yeah, I'm happy to bore everyone to death.
Yes, to death.
So have you guys ever told your like origin story for the podcast? How you guys met and became friends?
I don't think so. Not on the pod. I don't think so, right? Maybe.
Well, let's hear it.
No. Yeah, we
Long time ago, galaxy far away. Two
Wait,
comets
so how
collided.
long have you been
Many
friends?
moons.
We're talking. So you and I met
we were
2007, but you and Matt
Yeah.
have been friends since like way before that, right?
yeah, like 2001. I want to say maybe.
Can you even like 23 years?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I was like 6, yes, like 7. I was like 7 or 8. And he was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I was in first grade.
That you're still friends, like best friends to this day, is pretty insane.
The other day
Yeah,
I was
it's
thinking
crazy.
about you were my first #1 MySpace friend.
Yeah,
When I had to like
Okay, it doesn't get any.
I had to have a top
You're
10.
deeper than that.
I was like, well, #1's Justin for sure.
That's deep.
What are we doing
Yeah,
after
that's
that?
deep.
That's my
Your
first
top
round draft
8?
pick.
yeah.
I had a best friend named Fred who would never put me as his #1.
No.
I was always like the brother, like some family member was always
girlfriend.
#1. Ugh, just crushed me every time.
Dude, Justin did that for a while,
crushed me.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It was like something I wasn't upset, you know what I'm saying? It was cool. He had a different organization for his friends list. But then
Yeah.
one time he put me as #1, I was like, that's my dog. That's my dog.
That's when we should have
made it.
known like social media matters way too much to people,
This
True.
is something different
like
here,
6th grade,
bro.
that kind of like
Middle
me
school?
being impacted by that is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
that
it's
was the
not-
first real social media.
MySpace.
I think so, right?
At least that was the first one the first large one that I interacted with, and that I knew a lot of other people who were also
Yeah.
interacting with it. I was like,
Unless
oh,
you
shit.
did AIM.
Yeah, that was another
I guess
thing.
that kind of counts.
Yeah.
I remember I had a crush.
Many moon ago. This
Yes.
was 20 moons ago.
We're diving into
It's like
your
6th grade.
your
Yeah,
historical
I don't know.
record here.
She
Archive
had,
of Austin.
She had like a tone that like when she would send you messages would play a song. You know
Okay.
that song that's like do 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 do.
It sounds
listen,
like
listen to your
Zelda.
heart. Listen to your heart
Okay.
when he's calling for you. Listen to
Listen
your...
to your heart.
Yes, it would play a little melody
Nice,
of that. So I had the biggest crush on her because I love that song.
That was the first little taste of that social media that you're talking about.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, totally.
Dude.
AIM was cool. I was on AIM.
It was AIM and RuneScape, and
RuneScape.
I would just
to death.
go do that for like a couple hours at night and
Mm-hmm.
log off, and the computer would take like an hour to turn on, and it was like questionable if we'd have internet at that time.
Yeah, it was a little spotty, a
Very
little choppy.
strange. Yeah, very strange. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you guys.
I know that was good, but I was also going to go on a whole other tangent. We could save that tangent for later.
Yeah, okay.
RuneScape's the shit. Okay, so we are. I was born in California. He was born in Indiana, and then our families just happened to
Oh, you were
move.
born in California.
Yeah, just happened to move in Texas.
That's why
I
you're
was-
you're a Lakers fan. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, loyal to the soul, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Dodgers, Angels,
Do you see that?
He holds it down.
Grand Slam.
walk off grand slam in it. Denny's. That's buckets. But so we both just moved to Texas around the same time, 2001, whenever that was roughly. And then I guess it had to be the summertime because, or maybe not the summertime. It was hot because we were at the pool. And then I guess I was just at the apartment complex we just happened to move into. And then his grandma also lived in that same apartment complex. And then I guess every day after school you went over there? Or some days after
A lot
school?
of days.
A lot of days?
Yeah, not all of them, but
Okay.
I would just take a different bus to go to my grandma's house. But it was always kind of lame because it was like my grandma's apartment was smaller and there wasn't
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
to do and she couldn't really play with me and I had no friends over there. And then so I didn't like doing it a whole lot. And I remember telling my mom like, her balcony faced the pool. Like you walk out and you're looking at the pool with like the barbecue and everything. And I was telling my mom like, when I go to grandma's house, can I just go to the pool? Like there's nothing to do over there. Like please, can I go to the pool? And I asked her for like a month or two. I kept being like, okay, well if I got to go to grandma's house, can I please go to the pool? And she'd be like, no one's there. No one can watch you. And then one day she's kind of like, okay, if you go to your grandma's house and you look outside and you see there's like someone your age, like a boy that's like maybe from your school, and if they're out there with their mom, then call me, talk to me, tell me, and then have your grandma go sit on the patio, and then you can go out there, go introduce yourself to the mom and tell her your grandma's right up there and that you want to swim, but your grandma can't come down, and ask her if she could watch you, please. And I was like, all right, bet, whatever. And I look outside, and there's a mom and a kid my age, and then the only people at the pool. And I'm like, going, let's go. And I go down there, and then I introduce myself to the mom, and then that's Shani. And then I'm like,
Wow.
My mom.
start hanging out with Justin. I think we had a ball or football or something like that, and we just started kicking it. And then they told me we lived at whatever 929 or whatever. I just go knock on his door, and then from then we just every time I went to my grandma's house, we were hanging out. And then we started talking on the phone, playing video games.
Yeah, dude. You're like, do you like N64? You have an N64? Yeah. Dude,
we used to-
badass.
We used to run Mortal Kombat, but like my grandma would never let us play that game. So then we'd be like, one person would be holding the controller for the next fight, and the other person would be like on the reset button for the Nintendo 64. And if like the stage came up that had like the chopped off heads and dismembered bodies and
There's
stuff,
a whole bunch of like spikes on the ground,
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
whole bunch of dead bodies
Violent
everywhere.
stuff,
We were like 8.
had to hit the reset while grandma's looking at the People magazine. Hopefully she doesn't see it, and then we'll just start the run over. So we're just fucking being kids, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Yeah.
Just being kids, bro.
But you didn't go to the
that
same
was it.
school.
We went to Forest North
We
Elementary.
did.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were at the same school, but we were we're not in the same grade. Because I guess the cutoffs also, the cutoffs for the ages as far as like the enrolling into the schools, whatever grade you're kind of depends upon like how old you are. And then I guess everywhere's a little bit different. So East Coast versus the West Coast and then versus Texas was all a little bit different. So even though we're like 1 year, we're 1 year apart in age. And then there's like a week of time where we are the same age.
Okay.
But even with that being said, we're like, I think I'm 2 grades older than him.
Yeah.
I think I was graduated in 11. I think he graduated in 13.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because I was going to Texas
But
State
we're in
to
the same
hang out
school.
with you guys.
That's what I was going to
while I
say.
was in
So
high
you
school.
grew up together, but didn't go to the same high school. You were with.
No, yeah.
That's where we met.
Yeah, we
But
were
then
in the same elementary school.
You guys reconnected at Texas State.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I moved in for 6th grade. I moved, and then
Right.
we
Yeah,
never
you
went
moved to like Dallas or like Corsicana, right?
first it was Frost, which was
Frost, there we
like
go.
a 1A school. Like they were just barely big enough to not play 7-man football. Like there's some 1A
wow.
schools that can play full football, but it's like everybody's on the team. It's like if you could look at the overalls of some of those players, it's like some of them are great and some of them are bad. you know?
42.
Yeah, it's like right guard's getting buried tonight. Yeah. But they have this like small town. Like you ever watch Friday Night Lights?
Yep.
The TV show.
Yep.
Dude, yeah, it's like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's her favorite show.
You like
It's
that
all-
show?
Yeah,
I've never seen it. It's that
It's
good.
better
though?
than the movie.
It's that go?
Yeah, it's better
Okay.
than the movie.
I think the ladies. My mom liked it a lot, and then I feel like there's something about the ladies really like that show.
Because the coach is hot.
Even
Yeah,
though it's
for-
about-
yeah.
Even though it's about football?
Unfortunately, that's why.
That's
It's because he's a
about as-
stand-up guy.
it's
He's
like-
like positive testosterone.
It's sort of about football. They show a lot of football,
Is it
so
drama?
like guys can watch it, but it's mostly drama. Yeah,
Okay.
I remember like the running back took steroids and it was like real dramatic.
We
'Cause
might.
he really wants to go to college.
We might have to
Get his
dabble.
mom a
We
house.
might
I
have
think I
to-
just, I think I just,
Smash Williams.
I think I
dog.
just spoiled season 1, Justin.
That's okay. It's fine. I'm not gonna tell the lady. I'll suggest the show to the lady and we'll
Yeah,
see if she
yeah,
likes
yeah.
it.
Smash Williams is a great character too,
Yeah.
right? Like the actor that plays him. He's like he has true swagger.
Yeah.
Some people are like faking it or it's not.
It's also
viable.
a 10 out of 10 name for a high school
What's his
star.
name?
Smash Williams.
That's hard.
yeah.
Does he just run people over?
He's
And
him. He's
it's
like AP
Coach Turner.
Taylor.
Coach Taylor. Yeah, heartthrob.
Banger.
Okay.
This show's
Heartthrob.
great.
It's got a little country twang to him. You know what? Maybe don't watch it. Actually,
Wait, where's he?
When's
or,
after you get married?
What's it on?
I don't know.
It was on Netflix back in the day.
Netflix.
Might be.
It's available somewhere.
I'm sure we
though.
could watch it somewhere,
It's a
yeah.
classic.
Yeah.
But Coach Traylor, the UTSA head
Yeah.
coach here, I served him one time while he was at a booster dinner. Obviously, nothing crazy happened. Like I don't have any crazy stories or anything like that. But he is almost like he's that guy.
Really?
I don't know if it's like he wanted to be that guy or if it's just like they wrote a story about like a Southern coach that really like has that draw and that vision and that
Yeah.
leadership and charisma. But like his wife reminded me of the wife from the show, and the way he talked to the boosters reminded me of the way he's talking to Buddy Garrison. And I was just like, this is a trip right here. He's really living that life.
Yeah. Hey, you know, A&M almost hired that guy,
I heard about it.
Trailer, and they went with that Elko from Duke.
I think that I heard Coach Traylor saying that he wanted a big contract, like a multi-year contract.
Yeah.
And he didn't. I think he said that he didn't think A&M would do it after Jimbo Fisher, maybe.
Mhm.
Or maybe I'm misquoting him. I don't want to, but I know that was one of the draws for him to come to UTSA because they were going to offer him that big
Yeah.
window. Dude, you should. Honestly, I think he's like phenomenal. I think he might have done a great job at A&M.
Yeah.
It's weird to think he could have got hired by UT, could have got hired by A&M, but instead he's hired by UTSA. And since that program has kind of looked at a much different light than the other programs, I think we look at him in a much different light than other coaches. But he has like the most winning record in Texas high school football. He like,
Really?
I think he went like 60-10 or something like that.
Wow.
Damn.
It's like unstoppable, dude.
Going off.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. But yeah, so you moved to small town.
Yeah, anyways.
Corsicana.
Oh, it was Frost, Texas at
Frost.
first. They were like freaking small. Like there was like 30, 40 people that went to my dad's church. There was probably like 30, 40 people in the graduating classes. Freaking small. And then there was another city like 10, 15 minutes to the west of that called Corsicana. And that was a bigger school, like a 4A, 5A school. And they had a college in that town. It was just like really, it was a culture shock because it was more, I don't know how to say it. It was a lower income city, and it was different demographics than I was used to. So there was
Yeah.
just like a lot more minorities were like the majority in that city, which was cool. Like I rocked with that, but it was kind of a culture shock for sure. Like there was uniforms at the school and like security guards at the school and like metal detectors and stuff. And I was just like, yo, this is kind of crazy.
Talked about it on a previous podcast. There was a fight every day.
Fight every day in the locker room.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like every day it was like people were just like kind of waiting, like it's gonna happen. Someone's got a beef to settle, or someone said some shit today, and if nothing happened, then it's like even more scary because then it's like someone's gonna fight today.
When
Yeah.
it hits, it's gonna hit harder.
I mean, do you think that's productive for like a high school football team?
They were really tough, but they were really undisciplined.
yeah.
That was our coach every day was talking to us about discipline, and then I got to the point where he would start saying stuff like Matthew's gonna get minutes because he just sits here and he fucking does his work and he comes in and he's quiet. Like that's the kind of shit I'm looking for. So I started like feeding into that a little bit, adopting that, but it was because we were so undisciplined that we were always getting. I think that they would be a better program if they, I don't know.
Yeah, emotional discipline.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Not just acting out. It's like, all right, we're gonna fight.
No, yeah,
Come on,
I
we don't
get,
even be
I get
fighting.
like tempers flaring in
Here's
practice.
the thing, though. The
but
fucking
fighting every day seems a little
Yeah.
bit
is
too
there
much.
Brian Dawkins or like the
Yeah.
Steelers in their prime. I don't think. I think that they were more like let's fight in the locker room. Or I don't know. I just feel like that raw toughness probably did get bred a little bit by that fighting in the locker room. You know.
It could be good, I guess.
Probably a balance you got to
Yeah,
strike
yeah.
between
Always.
fighting every day and having that toughness. I think you got to have a probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
wild. There's just the crime was a lot higher, and the influences of the crime. Like I remember watching a kid run out of the school, and he's getting chased by a security guard, and he's like running away from him, trying to. And then the guy's like arresting him, and I'm like, why is this? We're in middle school. Why is this kid getting arrested?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Jesus. Yeah.
So, anyways, culture shock. But that was a bigger town, and then we moved to Florence, Texas, which was like Frost, Texas, but a little bit bigger, but more country, more cowboy boots, more, southern living. And I didn't really love that either. I'm more of like a city guy. Like I like Austin and Round Rock and stuff like that. I really liked my New York family when I was a kid and stuff. So I wasn't a big cowboy like that. So it was a little uncomfortable. But anyways, that's why I was.
But yeah, we never went to the same school except for elementary school and then college. But we had stayed in touch like throughout the entirety of middle school and high school.
No, yeah, that's how. I mean, it's crazy you guys stayed so close despite never,
Yeah.
like even living in the same city as kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was kind of a testament we were talking, or I guess we were talking about Xbox and stuff, but it was
Yeah.
kind of like that we were sort of given a different sort of platform to communicate.
Yeah,
and
no
to
free
interface.
ads. Xbox.
Yeah.
But
Fucking, yeah, playing RuneScape together, just like getting on a three-way call with me, you, and Derek, and just like playing RuneScape,
Yeah.
or playing Call of Duty, or playing Halo, or whatever. I guess we didn't really play Halo. We played Halo a
Yeah.
little bit. But yeah, that was
Mostly
like
Call of Duty,
our
bro. That
platform.
was it for the longest.
And then
time, was
MySpace
just
and all
Call
that.
of Duty.
See, I guess it was kind of lucky. I guess if there ever was a time for someone to like, or for, because if that happened, if we were to be like our parents' age,
Yeah.
like how the hell are you going to stay
or
in
like
contact?
five years prior.
Yeah,
like,
even 5 years,
yeah.
or even like a year or two, we might have missed it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
you say that, but my parents met on the internet. In
Yeah,
like
that's
the
crazy
80s,
too.
You know what I'm saying? So
They're pioneers, dude.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Fucking pioneers.
Well, they're like you're one of the 3 people with the internet. Like,
Dude.
yeah, we should date.
yeah, exactly.
You want to have babies?
Like, what about the other guy? Like,
He sucks.
don't talk to him.
He
Dude,
sucks. He
he's
still
a-
lives with his mom.
He's a
he's
troll.
a psychopath.
yeah.
He invented the internet. We're the first 2 on it.
He's fucking crazy.
Oh man.
How did they meet in the 80s on the internet?
Dude, okay, so I don't know the exact specifics, but I imagine it was some kind of website engineered for that. But also, like, they played like this game called Mud back in the day, which was like a full MMORPG, but it was all text based. Like everything was like
It's like Dungeons and Dragons almost.
yes. So it's like you walk into a country field, you see this on the right, you see this on the left. This just happened to you. The sun's going down. You need to get to here. What do you want to do next? and then like what you type in is like pretty open for interpretation.
What
like,
you try to do,
yeah.
but it's like an AI generated like a DM more or less, or dungeon master,
I think
like someone who like plays out what happens in response to what you say.
I think it was a team of people were writing the code for Mud in a building somewhere, and then writing like infinite. They were playing with the science of code. Like, how can we make this so expansive that no matter what they do, we have something for them that's
response that
different than what they could have done. So because they were being so experimental, I think that they were like finding avenues that might have been like AI, but they weren't calling it AI. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some sort of program.
But my dad was so interested in the boom of software and technology. He got a computer when he was like 5,
Wow.
and he's like the type of person that could take a computer apart and put it back together and understand what's going on. And so
He built your computer, right?
yeah, he builds computers like for fun as a hobby. And my computer's, it's nice. He's great. His computer is like one of the best in Texas, like top 5. It's got
That's crazy to say.
yeah,
Holy shit! Like
What are
do
the
you-
other 4?
Yeah, what do you mean best?
like there's only so much top performance
Specs you
equipment
could have?
Yeah, so once you get like literally
You
everything,
max out your stats.
yeah, for sure. And then also if a new thing comes out and you're one of the first people to get it, you know what I'm saying? So
okay.
there's been times where he's like, dude, this computer right now, like as of today, I don't even think anybody really.
No one's touching me. No
Nobody's
one's touching me.
But
That's crazy as fuck.
but he's
Sorry,
so
continue.
fascinated by it that I think that's why he loved Mud, was because he was like a nerd about the inner workings of it. But my mom just really liked fantasy games. She liked Dungeons and Dragons. She liked reading books.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I'm saying?
EverQuest. That was a big game they were playing, right?
She was ever cracked for sure. She was like,
I remember hearing that term when I was
Wow.
like at your house.
See, we
8 years
like,
old.
We stood no chance. They were playing the most boring. Now, if you go back and play those games, right, you wouldn't,
never, dog.
Not
you
the
wouldn't spend
same.
more than 5 minutes.
Not the
No.
same.
But now, I mean, could you imagine if they played some of the games that are coming out now? I mean, they've had what 40 years to like make them more and more addicting and kind of
Better,
engaging,
smoother.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that the engaging factor of it is really plays on your subconscious mind.
no doubt, yeah.
Right?
No
Like
doubt.
your hunt instincts and your like adrenaline and stuff like that, like feeling like you're in that
the
moment.
dopamine hits.
Yeah.
Like World of Warcraft, right? You
Yeah.
get, like you roll for a little piece of a sword, right? That you get to equip, and you're like, oh my god, that was incredible.
It's like a slot machine.
It means nothing in your real life. Like
Nothing at all.
The moment you log off, you're no better than you once were, except it's 5 hours later.
You're a little
And,
smellier.
Yeah, you're a lot smellier. If you're
little hungrier.
If you're 16-year-old Austin, you're a lot smellier.
Dude, you got to spend some time doing something that's not. I just my question when I asked you, do you play video games as this? Because we haven't even got into it yet. But
Oh yeah,
you're-
we haven't even started talking.
you're like one of the most accomplished people from the people that I knew as a kid. Like as far as being a professional and like when I heard
fucking
that
Dr.
Flattering,
Brett.
flattering.
That's my dog.
when I heard you graduated
Dr.
from
Jones.
A&M and you were doing some surgery.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she doesn't. I like you guys.
She's a medical
You
field
guys
as well.
know who I used to be. She has no idea like how far I've come.
No, man, I just thought I always thought you were cool, man. Like when we were playing video games and stuff, like sometimes Sarosh would be kind of like annoying and a troll, and like I didn't always trust him to, because I'm like a kid, I'm self-conscious.
Yeah.
He might be like, oh, look, you sound like a girl, bro. What's up with this? What's
I
up?
sounded like a girl, so I'd be a hypocrite.
Turn my mic off.
I remember ordering pizza, and they would be like, "Yes, ma'am." When I
Oh,
would order pizza for my
no.
family, it just crushed me every time.
No, I was in the same boat, bro. I still
Yeah.
sound like a girl sometimes, but regardless, there was like, and plus you guys were friends. Like you guys hung out at school together and stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was like, I didn't want you guys to be like, God, Matthew sucks, bro. We don't want to hang out with that guy. But every time I played or hung out with you, I was just like, Austin's like super dope. He's cool. Like I don't have to feel like maybe he's
Yeah.
gonna make me feel like shit or something like that for no reason. Yeah,
I think we had a pretty good like, as far as drama goes, our friend group in high school was like pretty clean.
Yeah,
At least
we're
like the
pretty chill.
core guys.
We were pretty chill. I remember having that same sort of realization whenever we went to, I think, Kyle's bachelor party
Yeah.
in Shreveport
Mhm.
or wherever we went. I remember having that same thought. I was like, man, like if everyone like Jerry, Joel,
Yeah,
Zach.
It kind of grew over time. Yeah. To like, what is he even up to, Jerry? He's in
know.
like Dallas somewhere. but-
That's what I want to say too. Yeah, things in Dallas.
I mean, I don't think anybody really had
Crazy
serious like
run-ins with the law, or
backstabbing.
anything.
You were like even just like relationship
Within each other?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
there was
yeah.
really ever major
nah.
major beef.
I think it was a rational fear. I mean, getting made fun of by
That's
your
fair,
friends
yeah.
isn't even like the worst thing in the world. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah.
But I was still a little self-conscious about
we
it.
definitely made fun of each other. I mean, that was no doubt.
But never in a cruel way. Like
No.
never in like
Nah.
you guys weren't fucking laughing at someone's expense. You know what I'm saying? If it's funny, it's funny. But anyways, that's what I thought you were a good person, even just playing Xbox with you. And I think we played basketball one time at Texas State together.
Probably we played it at the YMCA a few
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
We played.
yeah.
I think that's honestly probably how we hung out more than Xbox was probably playing
Right.
basketball. Yeah.
Yeah, I just always thought you were so cool, bro. So then found out you graduated from A&M, doing doctor stuff. I was like, yo, let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not a lot of
bro.
people doing. I don't know anybody that became a lawyer or I don't think I know anybody else that became a
I don't know
doctor.
anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, don't know any other doctors.
What's
I
the
don't
other
think
big
so.
profession? There's one more, like an accountant.
What
or,
about Obali? Obali's doing some
Financing?
crazy
Oh
shit.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. He's
God.
like working
He's
for
a-
the government.
Yeah, he's on some crazy
He's
shit.
the smartest.
I don't even
other
know if I
than
could
her,
disclose
he-
this.
He's the smartest guy I've ever met. Yeah, for
He's
sure.
got to be. Oh, he's got to be. Easily. Like, fucking easily.
When the government hires you to
crazy.
do math for like your security, you're probably like
Yeah.
one of the smartest people.
I think...
such a good hustle player in basketball too.
Yeah.
So much
Dude,
great, bro.
he was a savage and a
Right.
fucking maniac on the dance floor.
Yeah.
That man was a fucking math genius.
Yeah.
And a maniac on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Crazy
What a combo.
defensive point guard
Yeah.
phenom.
Yeah, I know, right? Like I don't want to see him at half court trying to pick me up. Fuck that.
Insane athlete. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, he could jump
Ferocious.
ridiculously high.
Didn't he
Yeah,
play
he had
nose guard?
hops. He could dunk a tennis ball, and he's like 5'5".
What a specimen.
Yeah.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy?
Valedictorian.
Make him in a lab?
Something, dude.
Yeah,
he's-
seriously. I
he's
mean, very
diff.
like a yeah, exactly. Very, very interesting character. I mean, smartest guy you ever met. Like one of the best athletes at vertically,
Yeah, he could jump crazy, and his ferocity is unmatched.
and
Yeah.
loves to party. Like
yeah, and he goes
absolutely-
hard.
absolutely
That same
loves to party,
ferocity is
yeah.
transferred over to his like his social life.
He's not coming to your wedding. is he?
Dancing crazy.
Like, did you invite him?
I think.
I won't say this on the podcast.
No, I don't think I don't think I was able
Is
to
he
get
about
a-
to find out when you release
We,
this in
we
public?
did
Like,
not.
what the hell?
If I could find his address, I'd send him an invite, but I don't think I was able to get his address.
Oh, Bali, if you're listening, reach out.
Reach out to me.
When is the last time you've seen him? I haven't seen him in.
Last time I saw him, he was going crazy and
Yeah, probably same.
on 6th Street.
I think I was 21 on 6th Street. Yeah,
Yeah, we were
probably
going
the last
nuts.
time
I think I remember
saw
him
him.
going into the dance floor, and like at this point, I think we had gone out before. I'm not even sure what context. I think we went to Galveston or to somewhere for someone else's bachelor party or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but we had gone out before. But then we had gone to 6th Street this time, and he was like going nuts, just going nuts, and he was like getting girls, was like dancing with them and fucking like not throwing them around, but you know, it's like
Going
dancing
hard.
with them, yeah, orchestrating the dance and
Yeah.
like just bringing the high energy. But there was it's towards the end of the night, and I actually remember seeing him last time I saw him, and he was with. Or like I forget what spot we were at 6th Street, which club, but I know that it's like there was different rooms more or less, and each room had a different like musical vibe to it.
Yeah.
And in this one was like the fucking house music, EDM, like
That's
lights
his
are
thing.
low,
Yeah,
like,
that's his
yeah, it's
thing.
fucking going nuts. But I think I don't want to get it grossly wrong, but I know that he was like coming into like hand on hand, body to body contact with like this male who was like also kind of bringing some of that same energy, but like it was
He's a switch hitter.
no. No.
You get
It was aggressive. Yeah. It was like they were about to get in a fight, more or less.
He was an aggressive drunk.
It was about to get in a
He was
fight,
a very
I'm pretty sure.
aggressive drunk.
I want to
person.
say that he like grabbed him. It's either he grabbed him or he got grabbed by him. It was either way, but hands were getting touched.
Oh,
Hands
Bodies
touching
were
hands.
getting touched by hands
Whoa.
that weren't their own.
Everybody got to take a step forward at that point.
Yeah, I was like, whoa,
There it is.
partners.
Yeah.
you had to break it up.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I don't think I was.
I was
there
just
for
right
that,
there.
actually.
I was like
probably-
this close. I
Honestly, I was probably asleep. It was that late.
was
I don't
like,
know.
sheesh. Yeah, it was probably close to like, I don't know, 1:30.
2 a.m.
Nearing the 2 a.m. mark.
You ever catch a stray punch, Austin?
Never been in a fight. Nope.
Dang.
Yeah, never been in a
I,
fight.
I assumed you
Knock
had,
on
I
wood
assumed
because last time
naturally-
this happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Knock on the wood.
I'm about to leave here. The NutriDrip guys.
You about to get punched in the head, bro.
You on their podcast after me?
Yeah, he's an RN, I guess. He's an RN. He's in the medical field.
Just a joke.
yeah,
Yeah, Mr.
But-
NutriDrip. I
Justin,
didn't
last
mean anything
time
by
we
that.
were talking about getting punched in the face. We were like 16 or 17
with his stepdad.
with my stepdad. We're moving stuff in a U-Haul truck, helping him out, and he's like talking about, "Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen."
Yeah, he's like, it's like a rite of passage. I don't even know how the conversation came up, but he just mentioned getting punched in the face. He's like, oh yeah, when I was in college, I got punched in the face or something like that.
I think he asked us. He was like, "You boys ever been hit?"
You ever been hit, son?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
No, my stepdad's the best.
Just trying to help you
It's a
move.
rite of passage.
I think he got knocked
That
in
was
the
a word.
face or something like that. He got knocked in the face, and then by something, and then he's like, "God, man, you guys ever get hit in the face?"
Get hit in the face of
And then
something
I
else.
told the story about getting punched in the face.
You've been punched in the face?
Yeah, but it was I graduated high school, and we were at my high school graduation like drinking party.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? And then there was this older kid, like 2 or 3 years older, that was hanging out with the townies in Florence. and I had dated a girl that he was in love with when I was a sophomore.
That's usually one of the factors
That's
involved.
that's one of the ingredients.
Alcohol and a girl are usually a big factor in getting punched in the face. I think.
Yeah. And so I think that we're sitting there drinking, and I remember being just drizzy drunk. You know what I'm saying? So much so I looked at this girl, and I remember seeing like her slip into 2 girls and then come back into just 1 girl, and I was like, I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
But then I also was like, she's so pretty. And then
Both of them.
I walk outside. I walk outside, and I think it was that moment when he saw me look at that girl and be like, oh, wow, she's really pretty. He was like, I guess he said something along the lines of like, this girl that wanted to be with me, and I broke up with her, and now I'm just looking at whoever I want or whatever. But he said that after he just walked up and fucking bah. So I'm like, just turn around, and I don't even talk to this guy like ever in high school.
Oh, wow.
Don't even fucking really ever associate with this guy. I just turn around all drunk outside. This guy's walking by me, I think, and then it's just like, like I just like start bleeding, and I'm kind of drunk, so I don't really hurt at all. But like my eyes are watering up, and I'm bleeding everywhere. So I'm just like trying to figure out what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Adrenaline running.
Then everybody grabs us, and then they tell me to leave because that guy like knew the people whose house it was, and he was like staying the night there and this and that. And they're like, "You got to go, bro. You got to go."
Dang.
Like,
Dude, what a shitty
you been
deal. It's funny because we were talking about him telling that story, and then his stepdad's asking us if we've been hit in the face, and then my response was, "No, I don't think I've been like in a somewhat altercation, but not. I don't think I've ever been hit in the face.
Yeah.
Never been punched in the face." And then he's like, "It'll happen." That was his response. "It'll happen. Don't worry." Or it's like a rite of passage. I was like, okay. And then not even how longer? Like a month? Not even a month later, we were at the concert.
I thought it was that week
I know it wasn't that much longer after we had that conversation. It could have been a week later.
because it was spring break. I thought it was on
Yeah.
spring break, so I like
Yeah.
helped my mom paint the fence, and we helped Steve move some stuff. And then during spring break, I also went and got tickets for Kanye West and Jay-Z. They were doing like a spring
Watch the
break show in
Throne,
Austin.
yeah.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Before he went crazy.
Oh yeah. It was
Before Jay-Z got into P. Diddy nonsense.
Oh
a
god,
long time ago.
we can talk about
bro.
that in a little bit.
Long time ago.
But yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
Watch
last.
the Throne was new.
I think it was
Relatively, or the year after maybe.
Yeah, it was the year after.
Right.
They had done the Watch the Throne tour, and then they were like still doing a couple promotional. So like Samsung paid them to come out and do their Watch the Throne set in Austin, and then Samsung gave anybody with a new Samsung phone free tickets. And my parents, mom and stepdad, had just gotten that new phone, so I took both of their phones and I went to Austin, and then I showed them the 2 phones, and they gave me 2 tickets, and then I brought them back and called Justin, and then we get to the concert, and we get there at 7 a.m. and we wait until
Holy cow.
Oh yeah, we woke up at 4.
Yeah, wow.
Got there by like 7. Yeah, then we just waited until they
What, 12,
they
13 hours? Or?
Yeah, oh yeah. They didn't let us in until like 10 something maybe.
Oh my God.
10:30, and
Wow.
then they didn't perform until like 11:30. And then we got up probably like 1.
that was one of the best and worst
One of
days
the best
my life.
days of my life.
I was going to say, yeah.
That was a full day.
I mean, what did you even eat?
There was a
we got
shop.
breakfast tacos. I
Yeah.
think when
Yeah,
we first
one
got
of you,
there.
one of you like held the spot
And
or
I
something.
think I think we
fucked up.
We formed a coup, or no? At first we were the first ones there. Literally the first ones there.
The first ones.
Because we couldn't even. We looked for. There was no line because there was none formed yet. Because we were the first ones there.
the employees weren't there yet.
Yeah. And then we went to go get breakfast tacos, and then we came back, and then there was like a couple people in line. We're like, oh fuck. Either way though, we're still like top 10.
Yeah.
Like first 10 people, but like that first 10 people, and like even like probably the first 15 to 20 people, we were tight. By like 5 or 6 o'clock, we were all cool. We were all just like, yeah, like what are y'all doing, man? Like, we got books. What are you reading? Like we're just
Yeah.
like shooting the shit, talking or whatever, just like forming a little line. So I think at that point we were able to like go get food. I think there was like a little sandwich shop like within walking distance. So we're gonna get some sandwiches. We'll be right back. But yeah, that was a long day.
And
Great
you
day.
you got decked?
And I got punched in the face
Wow.
by a female.
A girl?
Yeah.
Sorry, a woman?
Was
Was it? I don't know.
I
How
couldn't
old
tell
was
you.
she?
That's girl
I didn't have time to ask.
Why?
I didn't figure it out because we were top 10 in the line, so we were right there. We had primo access, and the stage was a square stage like this, kind of, but larger. And then the immediate gating outside of the fence between, so it's like edge of the stage is right here, and then up to where Talia is like where we were at. And then there's like that much space in between and a couple like security guards. And that's where the fencing was. And the fencing was, it wasn't a square. It was like, it went out and then it had an angle and then flat and then an angle and then flat. So like, we got like on the corner. We walk in and rush right up to the corner spot. And that happened to be like probably the best spot to be because like they were standing on either side more or less of like
Yeah.
the corners when they were performing together. And then even whenever they were performing individually, they still had, like we were right there. Like every time it was tight. And then So we were front row, literally as close as possible. And then this, I would say probably 10, 20 minutes into the show, I've been, over that 10 or 20 minutes, I've been probably like my heels were getting stepped on and like getting like heavily pushed up against.
I remember this.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember this story now.
And just jumping all over me,
Yeah.
bro. Jumping over me, stepping on me multiple times. And then I probably told her twice, it's like, could you stop? Like, stop doing
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? Could you stop? And then probably the third time or fourth time, I like turned my head back to relay the request, the formal request I would like to put in. If you could stop stepping on my heels. And then, I remember wearing my glasses. And then it was just like, whew. My head was this way. And then my vision was blurry. I was like,
Wow.
what the hell? And then, I realized what happened. I was like, oh, I just got hit in the face. And then, like, the momentum carried my glasses off of my face towards, like, and they fell, like, where the little gap was with the security people standing right there. And I was like, bro, like, she just, like, hit me in the face. Could you, like, do something about this? And he's like, not really, bro. More or less. You're on your own, kid.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, could you at least give me my fucking glasses?
Yeah, you did.
Jesus.
Golly, bro.
So then,
That was crazy. That was a crazy moment.
and then after that
I
request.
feel like Jay-Z and Kanye West saw that happen and were like, fuck, that sucks. Like,
Imagine if that was a Travis Scott concert. He'd probably be like, again, hit him again.
go!
yeah, right?
Mosh!
Hit her back.
Mosh!
Fiend.
Yeah.
That song's great.
I know.
Fiend, fiend. Yeah, I saw Patrick Mahomes working out to that song one time, and I threw it on my workout playlist that day,
Yeah.
and it's still there, bro.
Oh, no, it's every time I work out, I will listen to Fiend.
It's
Yeah,
in there?
No doubt.
Okay,
Have you
I
ever
need to
seen
throw
the
it
video
in.
of him? He goes quiet, and you can hear the whole like stadium screaming Fiend.
No, that sounds
Nuts.
awesome.
It'll give you goosebumps.
Nice.
It's crazy. Like that song is such a banger. You don't even know what he's saying. What is Fiend?
I think it's like the verb form of fiend.
Is it to fiend?
That's what I tell myself.
To fiend?
Oh, so no wonder why his concerts
Fiend.
are like so dangerous.
Yeah, right.
Whoa. Seriously.
I've seen like
They go
Wait, hold on. We
Crazy.
have a computer for this. We
dude,
don't
there
have to
even
put
there are
this
even
information
some
out there.
like weddings. At weddings, they'll come out of their like when the bride and groom are announced. When they come into the reception, they come out to fiend.
That's
Jeez.
that's crazy.
And then the whole party, the group like bridal party,
Just
goes
going nuts.
insane. Yeah.
Oh,
insane.
shit.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think I've heard that song once, maybe.
Urban
I sometimes get a little embarrassed that I'm
Define
like probably the whitest person you could ever meet, and I'm listening to like Travis Scott in the gym, like just screaming fiend.
Dude, we're rappers, so you don't even.
Bro,
have to-
yeah, we're listening to. I think you sent me some videos about that. It's like
Oh, yeah,
sixth
yeah,
grade, listening to Lil Wayne.
Yes, 100%. It'll be like
suburban white kid. Just,
me on my way to my 9-to-5 job to work on Excel spreadsheets, and Fiend is playing in the background.
Yeah, it says
For real.
fiend addict is the first definition. An
Like
addict.
caffeine addict?
No, it
that
just
really
says,
is written about me.
It says it just says fiend, not caffeine.
Oh,
Fiend.
But then it says the next one says to have all the time or want more, to crave for usually a substance like drugs or nicotine from a jewel or
sounds more
That's like the
realistic.
Fiend.
Yeah, that sounds more realistic.
someone wants something very badly. Fiend. Let's just Google. That's Urban Dictionary straight up. But honestly, you can't copy paste. It's like Wikipedia. It's not necessarily exactly what people are using on the street.
yeah,
you
what are
know
we talking about?
what does
can ask
Travis
Travis.
Scott mean
You ever seen his concerts?
when?
I've seen a couple.
You know, he's
I
like
told-
auto-tuned the whole time he talks.
Really?
Yeah, he
Oh,
was.
shit.
It was a funny video of him like yelling at a security guard, so his voice is auto-tuned. So he'd be like, "Hey, stop that!"
Stop.
You seen the comedian that's like does the shows where he's like, and I came up out the closet and he puts the mic in front of people's faces and then they'll like sing into the auto tune and everyone goes nuts.
It's not Bo Burnham.
No,
Is it? Okay, no.
but it's some guy doing a bit like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. He's so popular, but I don't even get it. He really is just singing on auto tune and riffing with the crowd for like an hour or two, and he sells out. He just sells out.
wow.
Yeah, I'll pull this guy's up.
Sounds
His
like
stuff is
those
crazy.
Mad Libs you had to do in like middle school, where you just fill in the blank and
Oh
it
my
becomes
god.
funny.
Yes, they were. Those were some of the funniest.
This is
the funniest things ever.
Especially as a middle schooler, you
Oh, yeah.
you put like poop. I went to the
Wieners.
big red poop, and after that went downstairs and ate a poop.
Turd.
I'm gonna put poop twice in a row here.
They'll never see it coming. They'll never see it coming. Yeah. So that was my getting punched in the face experience.
I don't even know
So
if
be
I
careful
like,
now.
I've never even been in a brouhaha. You know, like I'm really trying to think of like the most aggressive encounter I've ever been in.
No
Like
brouhahas at all.
I don't even know. My brother and like his friends would like hold me down and twist my nipples when I was in like ninth grade.
That's fucked up.
But I didn't fight back.
Ninth grade.
I liked it.
I didn't fight it.
Oh, that's just called bullying. I'm sorry. That's not a fight.
You're right. I'm with you.
I got titty twisters so bad that like my chest was bruised.
Dude.
But it's almost.
Yeah.
Was
Remember
it-
Jason?
Jason.
He was the varsity
Yes.
basketball player.
Yes, I was afraid of that
Him
guy.
and Cody Biggs would like hold me down and twist my nipples. That's insane behavior for
That's
like
fucked up.
seniors. To
Dude,
do
that kid. That kid
fucking
That's
malicious.
sophomore,
I wonder
yeah.
what that guy's up to nowadays.
Yeah.
What's
me
funny
too.
though is I Cody Biggs was like one of my best friends. You know, like,
Yeah.
we played World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah.
When his friends graduated, right? When he graduated
Mm-hmm.
and he stuck around, like I would just hang out with him. And you, like we were
Yeah.
all just
Yeah. And play basketball
Yeah.
at fucking
Yep.
what was it called?
we would go. This is insane. We would go to the gas station, get Mountain Dew, Kit Kats, Reese's Pieces, go play basketball at the YMCA after eating all that, and then come back and play World of Warcraft all night.
Dude, yes. And there was the I guess the YMCA, but there was another spot too. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Not Oak Ridge, not the outdoor park.
Oh
No,
yeah, that was it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man, that was wild. I just remember being like, because Jason was like the varsity like point scorer.
Yeah.
he was going ham.
He was their best.
He was
best
like
player,
6'5", 6'6",
Probably, yeah.
somewhere in that ballpark.
Which is hilarious. As like a point guard in the NBA, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
he was a big man.
Yeah.
You can't
Doing his
scale
fucking
high school
thing.
basketball to the NBA.
Doing his thing. But yeah, I was like, that guy was crazy.
But he was an asshole. Like he was real mean to everybody. I think.
Yeah, he had a different kind of personality.
I'll call
That's
it.
probably why I was
Maybe
afraid
he
of him.
was publicist?
Yeah.
It's a little different. You never had a run-in with this guy?
No, he was more
Yeah,
quiet.
I
He,
think
he was
he
more
was-
quiet, but I think
Yeah.
he has held a different, like, brooding energy. You know what I'm
those-
saying? It's fucking
Oh,
always. It's
Yeah, more of those demons.
Like, don't bump into that guy. He
Yeah.
might kill you.
Yeah. He wasn't very, very loud from my
No, he was
memory.
like,
super chill.
yeah, very
Oh,
chill,
like very quiet.
but mean.
Yes.
Yeah, very mean.
Brooding.
Yeah.
One who broods. What are we watching?
Well, sorry, this is an ad. About to get through this one, but this is the guy who does the live auto-tune comedy shows. That's crazy popular.
I want to tell you, but I feel ashamed.
It's like a Bo Burnham.
It is.
Have 7 roommates and no bed.
There's Bragazzi in the bottom right corner. That's
What?
the guy I was telling you about.
This guy?
The guy with the white hair? Yeah.
The rest of you better get your shit together. You do.
Oh, you don't.
I love having a girl. A girl world is the only world that I know.
I've seen this guy.
And when you only know one world, the other world is like, you're like, I don't understand it. It's wild. Like she plays with her friends. It's quiet.
like his jacket.
It's fun. My buddy wanted me to watch his son. He watched my.
What were you saying about this guy?
Which
He's
I
clean.
learned is
Oh,
that
okay.
Cursed, yeah.
I missed the joke.
I should get 8 watches to his 1 watch.
Worried about having gray hair. How old do
I
you think that
handed
guy is?
over a princess. He just throws
40.
the mom at my house.
9. What's your guess?
He's like under the deck,
45.
chewing on wires. I had to
A lot of love in the
wrestle with him. I was
comments.
like, "Why you walk up on a leash before you
I think
walk on
he and Shane Gillis are like the two big comedians right now.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. You've probably heard of Shane Gillis, right?
Of course.
I mean, he's so funny.
He's on Joey Rogue impersonating Trump and shit.
Yeah, he does the like the Down syndrome joke that is just
Yeah.
This is why I get confused in this guy, because he's like not. He's not like a. I mean, he might be a musician, but he's over there.
say, he
just-
actually sounds
He's not
pretty-
making. Yeah, but he's not making. It's his bit.
It's his bit.
It's his
Yeah.
material.
And he just has this like blend of like, I'm auto tuning, isn't it interesting? And people are like,
That
just
does sound
love
like
it.
Bo Burnham a little bit.
right.
Weird. But Bo Burnham blew up like crazy over COVID, you know?
Yeah, he blew up.
He released that special. I don't remember what it was, but it was like him, Tiger King. There was a weird.
Yeah.
The first like 6 months of the pandemic had a bunch of weird
We're all
things
going a little
looking back
crazy.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all going a little nuts.
Like
Look at some-
the bubble NBA championship.
Yeah.
That was pretty kind of real weird to look at. In
yeah, see like
retrospect.
the virtual fans.
super weird. Everybody
noise.
Yeah. Very weird.
It was kind of cool though.
It was kind of cool.
how-
They're just hooping. They're just hooping out there. There's no.
I didn't like the no crowd. It was weird as a viewer, but I thought like it would be so cool to have money to be like one of the people sitting in that chair, like
Yeah.
even though you're in your own chair. But if you're gonna spend like thousands of dollars on that, that sucks. But
What do you guys think? Since a lot of those people in the bubble shot better than ever because they think it was because of their empty stadiums. Do you think that's true? Is it like shooting in practice, basically? Like
Yeah,
if there's no
right. I think
fans
there's
or
a
crowd? Like when you played in basketball, were you nervous in front of the home crowd, in front of the away crowd?
I'm nervous before every performance or every
Yeah.
game. Like I get butterflies no matter what. Like even stupid shit I get butterflies for.
Right.
You know?
And like I feel like even if you get used to that, you're still going to be less than when you have nothing like in practice.
Right,
Right.
like-
So that's why like the bubble, they probably had a lot less to be nervous about
I think that's
in a weird way.
Yeah, it's not being as observed as much.
Yeah.
It's a little bit less pressure, or not even less pressure, but it's a different variable you're kind of turning. It's like, okay, I could just go out here. Yeah, it's just maybe less informal or more informal, less
Yeah.
formal.
Yeah, I was thinking like Michael Jordan, Reggie Miller says in The Last Dance that when Michael Jordan was filming Space Jam, that he had a basketball court built there, but he didn't just like bring the Bulls out there. He just like gave open invitations to the homies in the league, and so that eventually it became like to where Reggie Miller, once he got invited to that game, there was no way he was ever missing it because it was, he said, the best basketball that he'd ever been a part of in his entire life. So it's like Shaquille O'Neal, Reggie Miller, Michael Jordan, Stockton.
Scotty, all the
Scotty.
killers at the time.
Yeah, like the nastiest players that were. I mean, not like who's the guy in the Knicks that they hate so much? They left him off the dream team.
Isaiah Thomas.
No,
Isaiah
Pistons.
You're right. Sorry. Yeah. Like they didn't invite him
Right,
or
yeah.
people they didn't rock with, but still though, I'm saying I think there's something about that closed gym feeling where like you're getting more loose or
Exactly,
you're getting
yeah,
more
exactly.
intense, you know. So I think they probably just felt like that, or like you said, if you shoot 20,000 shots in practice and your practice percentage is way better than game percentage, and then now all of a sudden the game feels exactly like practice,
Right.
you might just translate that percentage.
Well, I mean, like
over.
these NBA guys are hitting like 90 out of 100 threes in practice. It's crazy, but they shoot 40% in games.
What is that? What do you think that is?
I mean, part of it is
Defense
you're not being guarded
or-
in
yeah.
practice. I think you're a lot more in rhythm. Like those 100 threes are all coming in a row, whereas you may take a three and then may not take another three for another 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
It's just sort of irregular.
It's different.
Yeah.
Momentum, emotion.
But like Dwight Howard is like a notoriously terrible free throw shooter, and he hits 80% of his free throws or in practice or something crazy, and then in the game shoots like 40%. It's something in he's broken
Yeah,
like
it's-
mentally.
Wouldn't you just get a therapist or
Dwight's
something?
about to see this podcast.
Sports psychologist?
Catching bodies like
Yeah.
what?
Get a hypnotist.
MJ38, my favorite. I didn't expect to catch strays.
Like, whoa.
Dwight Howard, if you're listening, bro, come back to the NBA. Stop.
Come on the pod.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But just come back to the
All right,
league, bro.
episode 69, Dwight Howard.
Dwight.
Hey, Dwight, thanks for
How's
coming
it
on the
going?
podcast.
Had to buy a special chair for you.
He'd probably come on for 69. He's kind of a funny guy.
Funny's a word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy for sure. I think he's in like China right now or
Yeah, he's somewhere
Taiwan
in Asia
or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's with the Taiwan Tigers. Or,
The
I don't know.
Gaozhong. I don't know.
Come on, get it. Who does Dwight Howard play
Yeah,
for?
we can pull it up. Yes, dude. Okay, well, I wanted to talk about. Okay, well, we can talk about anything, but I also just wanted to ask you about like what was your like med school
Yeah.
experience, college experience? How was all of that going down?
So I went to A&M. Didn't think I'd be a doctor the first 2 years. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I started getting good grades. So I was like, I'll just be a doctor. My mom was a nurse practitioner, so I kind of thought I'll go that medical route.
And you have an older brother, right? What is?
Yeah.
What did he went to UT, right?
Yeah, he went to UT and he really struggled actually in college. He kind of like broke up with this girl, his girlfriend in sophomore year or something, got like super depressed. And then that's like the worst time you want your depression to hit. So he kind of like tanked. And he was going to go to med school because he's very smart. He was like 13th in his class and then, I don't know, ended up somewhere in like 20 or still pretty high. But so he ended up like having a real bad GPA, did like finally he took like 5 years, 4.5 years to 5 years, I think, to graduate. And was like kind of working this research lab job, just like basic science lab, which doesn't pay very well. And then my mom knew someone who worked for some drug company. They hired him and he like kind of worked his way into Pfizer, the big like vaccine company.
Whoa.
And now he's like really balling out because he's in pharma. Big pharma.
He is big pharma.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So he's making a lot.
That's crazy.
They're moving to Hawaii actually. It's kind of crazy.
Wait, your brother?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wait, I missed the part when he wasn't doing well in school, but then to getting the job at Big Pharma.
That just was like networking.
Wait, that was Elliot who got that job?
No, my mom knew somebody, and then
yeah.
she like hooked him up because one of my mom's patients, I guess, was like a employee for a similar company to Pfizer. So he started working for them, and after like 5 to 6 years working for them, got enough experience, and then like switched to Pfizer.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy. At like he didn't have a degree? Or
yeah, he does have a degree. He does
okay.
have a degree, but like he had a GPA that like he wouldn't have gotten into like med school or anything like
Right,
that. So it was just
okay.
kind of I don't know, somehow got into the pharmaceutical
No,
industry.
for sure.
So your brother's at Pfizer?
Yeah,
Dude, that's crazy.
yeah.
Holy shit.
I know, it's a great job.
They're low key taking over advertisement, and
I think they're like, we're talking billions and billions and billions of dollars of cash. Yeah.
Dude, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So then, anyway, I was a nerd. I studied hard, got like really good grades in med school, A&M. Applied to just the Texas schools just because it's a lot cheaper to go to med school in state. So I applied, went to Baylor College of Medicine, which is in Houston. It's actually kind of confusing because they used to be
Waco, right?
associated with Waco.
Yeah.
But then they got divorced.
Oh,
But
shit.
they kept the name. Just like kind of like your kids, if you got a divorce,
Yeah.
like they'd keep the name.
They keep
That's
the
kind of
last
what
name.
happened. Yeah. So they're in Houston. It's actually the best. I don't want to brag. It's like the best med school
yeah, talk your
In
shit,
Texas?
in Texas. Yeah. It's
Cool.
like
Baylor School of
probably
Medicine?
like top 15 in the country.
Nice.
Yeah. And
bro.
so
Baylor has clout.
yeah. So that's where I met Talia. We met in anatomy. Kind of nasty.
Hey.
Smelly.
Hey.
Yeah. Smells like formaldehyde. So we started dating my first year med school.
Nice.
And she's way smarter than I am. So I basically just like copied all her tests.
Perfect.
All the way through. So we got the same grades, and then I graduated. And so we actually
That's so cool.
we both graduated like near the top of our class. There were like 7 students who got this like one honor, and we were 2 of the 7.
Nice.
Oh,
dude.
shit.
Pretty
That's
cool.
tight.
Yeah. So basically, like
You know, the
it
same
wasn't-
class?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, same
Yeah.
incoming freshman class?
I mean, basically the only really like I'd always tell people like I'm not smarter than anybody. It was just like discipline. So I like
yeah.
studied a lot more. I always woke up early, was like every day doing my studying, stuff
Dude, I
like
wish we would have been
that.
friends in college.
And that actually is like carried with me even now, like working out,
Yes,
stuff like that. It's just
bro.
like becomes a part of your every day.
Once you get the benefits too long,
Yeah.
you're like object of motion stays in motion.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It's just a part of like my life. I don't even think twice about going to the gym,
Don't even think twice about it.
anything like that, studying, stuff like that. It's just
Doing the dishes.
yeah, exactly.
know
Yeah,
what I'm
you
saying?
just get it done. So here's where it gets weird though. It's not like any other normal job. So when you finish medical school, you get to pick a specialty you go into and you apply
Yeah.
to it. But it's not like a bunch of places will offer you a job. You apply to all these programs and there's like this algorithm. So you submit a rank list and say I ranked Baylor number 1 or Harvard number 2 and stuff like that. All those programs that interview also submit a ranked list of the people they interviewed, and like some algorithm matches like the top choices.
Okay.
So you don't get to pick where you want necessarily.
Like if you're number 1 on your list,
hates you.
had you very low,
You'll never go.
not getting
Yeah,
it.
you'll
But-
never
but
go
if you're
there.
number 2, had you very high, they're just gonna mess you right
You
in
nailed
there.
it. Yeah, you nailed it. Exactly.
So you're kind of assuming that whatever you get is the best you're gonna like. You're,
Yes.
you're trusting the algorithm in that
100%.
sense. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. You will match to whoever liked you the most.
That's
Probably.
cool.
So hopefully your number 1
Well, here's the
liked you
problem.
the most.
Yeah. What if your number 1 liked you number 5, but your number 3 liked you number 1?
Exactly. You go to number whatever
3.
you just said.
The
Yeah,
second,
yeah,
the ladder.
yeah.
Wow, but that would suck though. You'd be
Yep.
like, no.
Yep. And like you could be like me, who was Texas my whole life, and ended up matching like I don't know, Wisconsin, and I'd be like, oh, this is awful.
Time to be a
You're
Badger.
stuck. Like you really can't do much for the most part.
Oh, shit.
And the other thing is like me, I switched specialties. That's also pretty tough. So I had to redo all of that. I had to go back through that algorithm again. So I initially matched into child neurology. And then it was just way too sad for me. Like I was okay. So I worked at the Y with you. I
Yeah.
love kids, like absolutely love.
Yeah,
working
we
with
worked
kids.
at the YMCA
So
summer
fun.
camp. That was
Yeah,
one of the
so
funnest,
fun.
most fun jobs.
Easily.
One of the most fun times of my life because we were waking up at like 5 a.m.
Yes.
working out at the YMCA. And then
That's another
going-
story I think we need to get to because like you're the only reason I am like a fitness guy.
Let's go.
Yeah.
My God. I love you, bro.
Ties
That's
back
awesome.
into the discipline, but
Yes, big time.
I still remember one time we were like, "Why don't we lift legs?" And then you were like, "I don't know." And then the next week he came back and he was like, "All right, we're doing legs." I could not walk for 3 days.
Dude, yeah.
We went from no leg training to a brutal, like hardcore, high volume leg workout.
What'd you start with?
And like squats,
Yeah,
baby.
leg press. Like we did like the full bodybuilder,
going
4
off.
sets of like 6
Yeah.
exercises, right? I could not get off the couch because my quads were so sore.
Couldn't get off the
Yeah.
toilet.
Have you ever almost fallen in public because you're so sore?
My butt cheeks are currently sore, so like going up the stairs just
Yeah.
now was actually a little dangerous.
Sometimes there's like almost public ramifications. Like
Yeah.
when I was at the restaurant, I'd be giving someone a tour or something, and then I like stumble because my leg is like sore, and then I
Yeah.
stumble into another guest chair or something like that, and then I gotta like, I'm not drunk. I'm just fucking destroyed right now. You know?
Actually, I just need to clarify. When I say my butt cheeks were sore, because this is public, 'cause I was doing like some Bulgarian split squats.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why. All right.
Clarification.
Just so we're clear.
No cheek clapping.
Just so we're clear about why.
Yeah, no, but there's sometimes where you gotta be like, I just lift. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
If you don't have the deer legs, coming out of the gym after a leg day, something's off.
It's
You
not
gotta
so-
be-
yeah.
You got to be a little wobbly.
A little bit.
Anyway, so I matched in at child neurology. It was just too tough for me, like
sad.
emotionally. Yeah, it was brutal.
Oh man, that's rough.
And it's hard, man. Residency, you're working.
So child neurology is like brain,
Yeah,
the brain.
yeah, like kids with seizures
Oh,
and
okay.
like developmental disorders and stuff like
okay.
that.
Damn.
And the tough part about residency is you're working like probably at least 60 hours a week, and then on their harder weeks are like 70 to 80. And that's I'm not even talking about surgeons work 100 hours a week, guaranteed, like no doubt. 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. like Monday through Saturday. They'll be off like Saturday or Sunday.
Damn.
It's like grueling stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was lucky. I decided I didn't like that. And I just switched into radiology, which is what I was thinking about also doing. I was between the two. And I like interviewed with this program here in San Antonio, and they were like, "Oh, we have a spot. Someone left our program, so we have a spot you could take immediately. You wouldn't have to like take any time off."
Cool.
So I was like, done. Like I'll move there. Talia's parents were from here.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, I actually went and moved in with them for a few months, like till I got my situation here set up. And so she was finishing dermatology in Houston. So we were apart for 2 years, but so now I'm in my last year of residency in radiology. And it's kind of more confusing, but now I do a fellowship. So this is like, I did radiology, but now I'm going to do neuroradiology next year. So that's just brain
X-rays?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
MRIs too.
Yeah. There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
So anytime you get like a chest X-ray, like CT, CAT scan, MRI, like that's the stuff I will look at that and then like tell you what's going on.
That's tight.
Yeah,
That's really cool, dude.
it is cool. I love it. I'm like, because I'm a nerd, but the one downside is like you don't really get to see many patients, so some people don't like that. So it has kind of pros and cons. It can be like a little boring sometimes.
I guess, yeah. Do you consider that a pro or a con versus, or like, in regards to like not
Yeah.
seeing the patients?
It can be both. Like
Right.
I had so many like when I was, this is just thinking about like my time at Peds. I mean, I had just like the coolest patients, right? Like funny little boys, right? Who were just like super cute. Like those are the best. Then you also have like the really sad ones or like difficult parents who were frustrated and scared and stuff like that. And those are like even more draining. So it's kind of like overall, I do like personally feel less emotionally drained in radiology than I did in Peds. So.
I can imagine.
But other people were like, no way would I, like she would be like, no way would I ever want to sit in front of a computer like all day,
Right.
not interact with people. Luckily for me, like you're kind of with your group in a room. So like you do interact with people every day. It's just not like a patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that. Or I could empathize with that 100%.
Yeah.
Because we were going from the restaurant like talking to people literally
Right.
hundreds every day to like just editing on the computer.
Isn't that so exhausting?
Talking to people.
Being
can
on.
be.
Like
Yes.
if you're,
Having to
if
be
you're a server,
on.
you have to be on. And I felt that
All
way
day.
as a pediatrician. Like when every time you're like, because you're like presenting, you have to present yourself
Yeah.
as someone who's like confident,
Knows what's happening
professional.
here.
Yes, exactly.
I
Like,
can
I would
navigate.
come home from those days and just be like, oh my gosh, I'm just exhausted. I didn't do anything, right? Like I didn't do anything that you would think would exhaust you, but
Because you're just
it's-
walking and talking mostly, so you feel like you're not doing manual labor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's
But
not
no.
physically stressful, but like I feel more worn out doing that than something like physically stressful.
Yeah, I can empathize. Or whenever we would even like sometimes it's like whenever we would make music or go to the studio or like we edit for a long time, it's like I didn't really do anything, but like I'm just like just like it's that mental processing. It's like oh, my brain processor's going so hard.
That's a different kind of fried. The mental fried. Like I felt that in radiology because you're like thinking a lot all day, but you don't even move.
Yeah, no.
It's kind of like, you ever traveled for a long time in one day, like sit in a car ride or like on a plane?
Yeah, you're exhausted.
You get there and you're like, I've sat on my butt for 13 hours and am more exhausted now than
I need a nap.
Doing anything else. Yeah, right. It's like after Thanksgiving when you eat all that food, you're like,
done.
First thing you do is go to sleep.
I need to take a little nappy poo.
No, but I did have to deal with that demon of like being on all the time, especially at the end of being at Blue Prime or the last restaurant we were at.
Yeah.
Because I'd climbed up the highest to take the most responsibility that I'd ever taken, right? But I'd also been doing it longer than I'd ever been doing it. So just like having to be like, just turn it on. You know what I'm saying? Every day. It just got to the point where I was like, it was like a boxing match. And I know it's like kind of whooping my ass and I know I'm getting tired, but I still got to like make sure I shake everybody's hand, look everybody in the eye, address everybody, hear their feelings, connect with people. But I'm like to some degree not very extroverted. Yeah, I definitely would rather chill inside and just do the editing. So when we did make the change, and I was just like the first week, I felt so different, like almost definitely more well rested, but then also kind of restless because I was used to like engaging more, you know. So it was a big transition.
Yeah, you gotta learn to turn off.
That to say also that like what you do really determines like what you got to have some kind of balance that you like your life being, you know? Oh, yeah. It makes sense that you would want to walk away from that situation with the child peds because I assume you didn't like how you felt every day or after a month or after 6 months.
Yeah, like kind of what we decided is like I had higher highs, but a lot more lower lows. Like I felt like the lows were a lot more common than the highs.
Right.
Here is like steady. It's just even keel. Like every day I'm like, this is great.
Right.
I don't have any lows. You know, the highs, I still have some like awesome days, but like overall, I love what I do and I'm happy I switched.
Dude, I'm over wanting to ride the roller coaster of highs and lows. Yeah. I don't want to do that shit anymore. It's just not worth it.
No.
And life gives you sweet moments. That's like something I tell myself all the time. It's like life will give you, everyone gets sweet moments where something happens and someone says something that's ironic in a way to you that no one else knows. Like you're going to get natural highs. But you could just try to curb some of those lows with your energy instead of chasing more highs with that energy.
No, yeah. I'm like a creature of habit. So when my schedule is not predictable, that's when I like really get stressed out. And that's kind of what that was. I didn't know when I would like be getting off, coming home. It's just every day you'd be like, man, what is going to happen today? That's going to like screw things up. And now I'm like 8 to 4:30. I work like maybe like every 5th or 6th weekend, so it's not really too bad.
Mm-hmm. You had did you have like colleagues you were working with at the neurology place? How were they coping with it? What were their feelings towards the?
You know, it's kind of like a fraternity in a way. Like you all are struggling so much that you bond so closely. Yeah. The one thing I say, man, is like I loved my co-residents and peds so much because like we went through like war together. It felt like
seriously,
right? You're in the bunker together. You're like. Basically, like one person's on call overnight. You go see him in the morning. You're just kind of like, you just want to like give him a hug and be like, "Glad you survived, brother." Like, I'll see you tomorrow night.
See you next time.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, they're the best. I mean, they're the smartest, nicest. Like, they all knew how to have a great time. If you know what I'm saying. Like, that's the cool part about them is, it seems like everybody's super well rounded. I feel like I don't know what the perception of doctors is, but like I said, I mean, they were the coolest people. Like you're in fantasy football leagues with them, hanging out, like talking about the most random stuff. Like there's this guy, Daniel Wang, is like one of my best friends from med school. I mean, you guys would love the dude. He's like,
did I sit next to him at your wedding?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The Asian guy.
Yeah.
He's like an orthopedic surgeon, like genius, but he's like super into Kanye, super into music.
Chill
like,
dude. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So everybody's like super well rounded.
But they were cool with like the lows, or they were like,
it's just kind of one of the things that you got to accept. I think they were better than I was at like dealing with that sort of stuff, and kind of knew. I think a lot of them maybe knew more what they were getting into more than I did.
Yeah. That might have.
I kind of just, I guess, you know, you only do about a month or so of every rotation, so like some people have different experiences. It's not a very big sample size, if that makes sense. That's why I feel bad for like surgeons who may do like 2 months of something and be like, oh, that was the best. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, and then 100-hour weeks are stacking up, and they're like, "This is awful. This is
Yeah, bro.
the worst." And you feel trapped.
I can
which
only
is-
imagine.
It's kind of weird that like some of the most academically successful people can't switch jobs,
Yeah.
right? Like these are the most successful people
They're trapped.
throughout their
They're-
whole lives.
They don't have real freedom.
It'd be like NFL players. I mean, they kind of do sign contracts, which is kind of like similar, but they can, somewhat decide where they want to go.
Yeah. They can demand a trade.
Yeah,
When they get to
exactly.
free agency.
Yeah, exactly.
How long are the contracts with the hospital?
Every residency is different. Mine was like 5 years, for example.
That's about a contract for a quarterback.
Yeah. Some are 3, like orthopedic surgery is 5, neurosurgery is like 8 because
Ooh.
it needs to be 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
You
in
don't
that
wanna-
niche.
you don't-
Surgery is nuts.
Yeah,
dude.
you don't want to go to
Brain
you don't want to
surgery?
have brain surgery and be like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Oh, I'm in my first year."
Second week.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? They're like, there are people who have been operating for 20 years, watching the guys who have been operating for 2 years, so make
Yeah.
sure nothing goes wrong.
Would you say that the well-roundedness of the people that were in your program was correlative to the fact that being in that program took? I mean, not everybody can do it.
Yeah,
That
it
there's-
was definitely a. So I stayed in Houston for that at Texas Children's Hospital, which is like it was considered at the time like the number 3 ranked program in the whole country. It's like I don't know if you heard of Texas Children's, but it's like I think it's
Yeah.
the biggest children's hospital maybe in the world.
Wow.
In Houston. So it was like massive residency program in like huge hospital systems. So it was like kind of like the pinnacle of pediatric healthcare,
nice.
basically. So like everybody
That's
there was a
awesome.
stud.
That's D1.
Yeah, exactly. It was like bunch of
That's badass.
LeBrons running around. Like,
That's
it
Alabama.
was like the LeBron from
Yeah.
Wyoming was there, like the LeBron from Iowa was there. They were like, we're all coming to
That's crazy, dude.
the Texas Children. They all then like I've seen what a lot of them have gone and done. Like, a lot of them became like cardiologists and ICU doctors and stuff like that. So they're all like doing crazy things. I'm like, man, I'm still in residency. Watching like seeing them like graduate has been kind of crazy. Actually, it's kind of sad.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I feel like when
Well, because you changed, right? That's why. So you had to go. I guess, and because of that change, you incurred like extra,
Basically.
a whole nother reset you had to do.
Yeah, basically, like I basically lost. So this program is like the same number of years, but because I spent like 2 years doing peds, I basically like lost 1 or 2 years
Hmm.
in the end. So it's not a big step back, but
when you had the
Still
moment
Still 1
where
or 2
you-
years.
Yeah.
where you slid into the it's a residency program here
Yeah.
in San Antonio that you slid into because of the SPA exchange, and then with her grandparents or parents,
Yeah, parents.
living here in San
Yep.
Antonio, did that feel like almost like you made the right decision
Oh,
in
totally.
that moment?
You lined up.
like,
right?
believe me, in retrospect, because at the time it was kind of an unknown, but I mean things could not worked out better.
Right? Isn't that? I'm really like not proud of you is a weird word, but like I think it's awesome how you were willing to reset and like walk away from trying to find a better
Yeah.
balance for your life and willing to like be humble or not have an ego or take sacrifice, whatever it was that you had to do with yourself to take that step away from where you were at, to rebalance and then to see life kind of like meet you halfway and then feel like you're in a better place.
Yeah.
That's such a translative message for people. Like that's kind of what the podcast is about too. But like that's really cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now you got this happy life and you're like well balanced and doing well.
No, yeah, it was a big risk for sure. I didn't know what I was getting into, where I was going. Like, I didn't really know much about this program. Kind of heard like mixed things about it. It's kind of I don't know, like just comparing like this program to Texas Children's I was just talking about was like the top in the country.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably like more in the middle ground. It's not like a big name place. It's San Antonio, but it's been great. Yeah, I've loved it.
That's badass, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So cool.
Yeah, how was
Got
the,
married here.
Yeah, bro. I was there. I seen it.
Yep.
Badass.
Love it, dude. What was the college or I guess med school? Was it like
Yeah.
crazy studying every week?
Nonstop. Yeah. I mean, I did more flashcards than you could even count. It's an app on your phone. It's actually pretty sick. So I wish we had this in high school. There's this guy did this project. Basically, there's this like theory of learning called spaced repetition, and it makes sense intuitively. The idea is like if you don't know something, you need to see it a bunch of times to learn it. And the more often you see it, the more you'll learn it. But like the more well you know it, the less often you need to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically this flashcard program has this algorithm that's saying based on how many times you miss it, you don't know it. And how many times in a row you get it right, you very clearly know it. and it spreads things out over time so that like the things you don't know, it'll keep slamming it in your head. And the things you do know, you won't see for another few days, another week, like stuff like that. So that's kind of like basically a hack, like a learning hack. It literally is the way it like hacks your brain to memorizing information. So I just did that a lot and ended up getting pretty good grades and
Power training.
yeah.
What you're playing, I think, or no, maybe you were telling me in A&M. I think I might be thinking of A&M times because I think I remember you saying that you were playing a lot of Melee.
Oh, that was med school.
Okay, okay.
Okay, these nerds, dude. I don't know what happened. I was a baller at Melee, I thought.
Bro, I remember playing that with you. Yeah, you, Zach
I was
Kakir,
good.
and Sarosh. We were playing that almost every day after the YMCA.
I, like, after a couple months in med school, found these guys playing Melee. There was a GameCube in the med school. And I was like, I'm going to go wipe the floor with these kids.
Fucking nerds.
Unreal how good they were at Super Smash Bros. Melee. Like, it was crazy. They were, like, watching video, all the YouTube videos.
The streamers and shit.
And they do that. Like, you can hear the controllers across the building, basically, because they're just clicking so loud. Yeah.
Dude,
so they all played Marth and the Fox or Falco. Because those are kind of like the S tier guys.
They gotta be.
So I was one of the worst players at that point. So then I just started playing with Jigglypuff. So I would jump. They would all play against each other. I would jump and then do the roll in the corner. And while they were fighting, come blast one of them. And so they would have to dodge me while also fighting.
That's crazy.
The other people. Was pretty funny.
Yeah,
we got super into Melee. Yeah,
you became a part of the map.
You got to have an outlet. Like even when you're studying all the time, you got to have something to de-stress. So that's I would play basketball, and I kind of like broke my ankle actually first year of med school. Came down on a guy's foot.
Just landed wrong.
Yeah, she was there.
Oh,
it was bad.
You nurse him back to health.
It took probably like it's still not back, but
oh no, really?
I was limping for like 8 months.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
You never got like looked at?
Nope.
That's my dog. That's my dog right there.
As a radiologist, currently, I'm like, dang man, how did you not get an X-ray on that ankle? That thing was broken for sure. I could like guarantee it. There's like a rule of thumb you have if you like sprain your ankle to get an X-ray. If you can't take 4 steps on like weight bearing steps, you should go get an X-ray on your own. Yeah,
4 steps.
Yeah, 4 steps.
Rule of thumb.
Yep, I could not.
Dang, you have like crutches?
Nope. Did I have crutches? I think I did have crutches, actually. My mom got me some crutches.
Holy shit.
My mom, by the way, who's a nurse practitioner, did not say, go get an X-ray. I don't know what she was doing.
It'll be fine.
By the way, yeah, that's another thing. Like, my mom was the best mom ever, but
love Miss Terry.
My healthcare, like, in retrospect, was kind of strange. She was the most, like, tough it out person ever. Yeah. I mean, I never saw a doctor. She would just be like, all right, dude, just stay at home, like, eat some soup and go back to school when you're ready.
Yeah. Take a couple of days off, drink some water.
Come in and get your shots. Like, that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's hilarious. The different time.
Yeah.
Different time.
No, for sure. I hope our kid, we don't have kids yet, but eventually we'll toughen them up.
Yeah.
Eat nails.
Tough as nails, kids. Come on. Dude, yes. Love I would love that. I guess, do you have a preference as far as boy versus girl, or?
One of each, I think, would be fun. Yeah.
There you go.
I think I want a girl first.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? What?
I don't know. I like daddy's girl has kind of always been something that's like, I just feel like boys gravitate towards the mom and then girls, like she loves, I don't know if I should say this on the public podcast, but like she's such a daddy's girl.
Mm-hmm.
I would like that. Yeah.
It's a cool relationship to have.
I don't want your mom to be watching this and be like offended.
No.
Yeah. I'm a
cat's out of the bag.
Huge mama's boy.
She has a favorite.
Huge mama's boy.
Yeah, I love my mom.
I think you are too.
Of course.
Probably, right?
Yeah, same.
I love your mom.
Same. My mom's
So that's probably why. That's the only reason.
No, I wanted a boy my whole life. I never once thought about having a girl, like ever.
Really?
Never thought of a girl name. Never thought about like I think because I was so into the sports, and then
yeah, that's the one iffy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The sport factor.
And I always told myself, like, if I would have known what I know now, if someone would have known what I know and then taught me that when I was like 5, no problem would have been a lot better off. But my parents just didn't know the information. They didn't like train or know nutrition really or go to the gym like that.
Yeah, no, neither did. I mean, my dad is
my
like
parents either.
Beer belly guy. Like
both of my parents ended up getting gastric bypass to.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they just struggled with weight loss and self-image for like their whole life, But I figured it out, so I'm like happy and stuff like that. I feel like I've got it now.
Yeah.
But girls play sports too and stuff like that. But all that to say, when we did have the girl though, when I'm like holding her now, it's like now that I'm opening that box of what it's like to have a girl, I actually kind of think I like this better, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe I'm just really happy with what I have, but I think that the girls are like, I think maybe it's because I listen to Joe Rogan, but I think the boys are kind of savages and you're having to like tame them the whole time.
For sure.
Whereas the girls probably connect with you a little bit more. And it probably is like, I think that the problems that they're going to deal with are going to be like a little more difficult for you to figure out emotionally how to connect with them and help them through
but
those
you don't
things.
have to worry about that. Just,
Yeah, just pass it
yeah,
off.
let them do it.
I'm excited too. I feel like that's like one of the great joys of this life is to get to raise a kid, I think, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But like when your daughter comes up, she's like, I'm having my period. That's when you just gotta.
I don't know nothing
Sorry.
about that.
I can't
Yeah,
help
I
you.
don't know.
ChatGPT doesn't, it says give it to your
I don't
mom.
have
Yeah.
access to that quest.
Yeah, exactly.
Never been there.
But imagine if you had to figure it out though.
Although I don't know if I want to answer the boys' version of that either. Like, hey, Dad, in the middle of the night.
My dad gave me a book when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
It's like, it was
My
like,
parents were always probably like, why the hell does he do laundry at like 3 a.m?
right, every night.
It's just socks?
Just
Yeah, there's a, yeah, my dad gave me a book. Anyways, a lot of questions kids are gonna
What
have.
was the title of the book?
yeah.
Like, you know,
How to jerk it?
little Timmy, little Timmy has some questions or
Yeah.
something like that. You know, it was like some kind of.
Like you're probably wondering what's between your legs.
I never had that talk. I had like Zach
Me
Givens.
neither.
Basically, Zach Givens educated was my sex
That's
education.
it, bro. If you
I'm not
don't-
joking. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
not
say
joking.
if you don't,
He was talking about
it's a-
wanking it like the first day of 9th grade PE class, and I was like, "What is he talking about?" Yeah.
what?
Because as a kid, do
you remember
watched
Jose?
Family Guy? I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah. That's how I figured out about what jerking off is.
Original Family Guy is still some of the funniest TV ever made, undoubtedly.
especially to be a kid during that time.
Oh my god.
Because it's like,
I feel that way about SpongeBob a little bit.
SpongeBob, South Park, and early Family Guy still kill me to this
We
day.
had some, yeah, right.
Oh.
It still holds true.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's
Like The Office too. The Office still
oh
holds
yes,
true.
100%.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
I love the. Have you seen the bloopers for The Office?
Oh my
did I send you
God.
them?
I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them.
The one where he's talking about karate classes online. Have you seen that? It's like Dwight and who's
can
the
look
other
it up.
guy? And that's it's Gabe. You know Gabe, the character, and he's like fighting with Dwight and is it Jim or someone else? And he's like talking about how he takes karate classes online.
Gabe?
Yeah.
I think this sounds familiar.
And he keeps making them laugh, but he'll like keep going at them with the like with his serious acting, and they keep laughing. I mean, it just kills you.
yeah, I
this
remember.
one.
I remember watching some of those, dude. Oh my god.
I don't think we have volume.
It's actually kind of sick that you guys have the
Put 'em
TV
up.
here. Yeah,
Heavily inspired by Joe Rogan.
Not even just about strength. It's not about strength, it's about skill. I'm taking karate classes online. My sense is just
I mean that writing is genius. Online karate classes. I mean, online karate classes. What are we talking about?
Why don't you tell that to the great apes? Have you seen their biceps? Yeah. You're talking silverback.
Silverback.
Awesome.
throwing feces at himself. Look at your face, you're a disgrace.
Jim's just dead in the corner.
I know, Jim.
He can't stop.
That's got to be one of the best jobs in the fucking world, bro. Being like the actors and the camera crew
I
for
know.
that, you gotta love your life, bro. That's such a blessing. That's crazy.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, sometimes when we're recording like a bit or like yesterday we were doing some outtakes for the video we were shooting to post as like a story with the video.
Yeah.
And just those are like we're crying laughing. Like it's just so funny when you're really in there just going back and forth. And I think that that's what they do is they practice like getting like even right now if someone said a joke and we just kept like trying to rework the joke and like re-say a punchline, like when he said online karate classes, that just strikes me as something that like Theo Vaughn would sit around and be like, online karate class is funny. I'm gonna pop that out right here.
That's what I wonder, right? Like, how often is he offline thinking about that?
I think a lot. I think
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
and that way when you
Yeah.
get in the moment, you could pull it out. You have that skill ready. You could shoot that 3-pointer.
That's the thing. It's like he doesn't know when he's going to use it, but He has
Right.
it ready.
And I bet he pockets them too.
Mm.
Like I bet there's ones he says now that he said when he was 17. It's like a Baptist preacher. Like he's got some like classic. Oh, that's funnier than a frog on a skateboard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's just got that ready to go.
Y'all ever think about like
Yeah. And he's probably gonna pull out a proposal sometimes that he's like he thought of last weekend, or they're just all bits.
Yeah.
You know. I want to be a comedian deep down. I really do. I want to freaking
I think everybody wants to be a comedian deep down.
right.
A little bit, you know? Who
they
doesn't?
say they're very depressed people. I don't know if you've heard that, but
Really?
yeah, like
I can see that.
I don't know who says
Emotionally.
it. Like some of the most famous comedians ever talk about how like there's some of the sadder, like Louis C.K.
Really?
like has some demons. Clearly, I mean he kind of got
Yeah,
sued.
and
so-
Robin Williams, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of shit.
Yep. Like at least to some, like Theo Vaughn has talked about, like he's kind of had a rough childhood, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think that also makes you funny in a weird way.
Yeah, he has a lot of trauma experts
Yeah.
on, and they always joke about how having a fucked up childhood makes you a funny person.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
can.
maybe my purple nurples.
They gave you
I like to think
something.
I was funny before that, but I don't know. You never know.
That boosted you.
Joe Rogan talks about the people that come to open mic nights and like get, because it's like if nobody does open mic for 30 years, there's no more comedians, right? So
Yeah.
you always have to have classes of comedians starting. And so those people that show up as like, I'm going to start doing comedy are usually like not super emotionally well, mentally well. They have some trauma or whatever it is. And then he said that Joe Rogan loved that about those people because it made them so interesting. And you got these really like fascinating, like critically thinking, funny people. But that it's like, it's kind of crazy. All those people deal with like a lot of drama and stuff. And early on, it's like a cluster pool of crazy stuff going on because
Yeah.
everyone's all these wild people. And I don't even know if I'd want to be around people like that too long personally, because it's hard not to get chaotic when you're around chaos, you know. But I think we need it, right? It's probably those people that have those stories. Like if you go through trauma and you come out the other side and you understand that, and then you can get on a stage and you can make comedy about trauma and let people realize that they're not alone in their struggle, or that to relieve some of the pressure of it off their brain, you know. I think that's why we pay those people so much as a society, or why we give them so much of our attention, or why we idolize them to a degree, like Dave Chappelle. It's because it's like that thing that they're doing is like actually maybe really important. But to be a Joe Rogan, to like get to that height where you're in that position where millions of people are going to watch, it's like it almost takes a life specific path to get there. I don't know if you could just manufacture that for somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Like maybe that has to be your destiny almost.
No, he's definitely, him being that curious about so many different things is like the reason he's so successful.
True, right?
He doesn't really seem like, I mean, he had Donald Trump on. He'll have anybody on. Like,
Trump, dude.
is he not like I thought he was a Kamala guy.
No.
No, he's a Trump guy.
Nah.
He has a strong disdain for the corruption within the Democratic Party.
Okay, I see. Well, either way, I mean, he'll have comedians, UFC fighters, like presidential candidates. I
Anybody.
mean, anyone who's willing to be interesting.
Yeah,
He doesn't really
anybody.
care who it is as long as it does big numbers. But your point about Chappelle, like, I always think it's funny in every like industry. There's always the geniuses that will arise. Like Dave Chappelle, I think is very clearly a genius.
Different
And-
category.
And his
of
peers,
person.
who we all think are geniuses, think he's the genius. You know, that's when you know you're a genius. Is when the geniuses think you're a genius.
Different amongst the different.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So like when the way they talk about him is insane. I don't know if you've heard comedians talk about like they watch Chappelle at the Comedy Cellar in like New York City, and how he can, watching him like practice his routine, he's kind of like Kobe in a way.
Yeah.
He's like a killer in comedy, right? It's something that seems so casual. He's actually methodic and practices nonstop to like get the timing right and stuff like that. It's kind of actually cool to listen to.
It's badass.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah.
I am like obsessed with genius. I could listen to genius, like stories about geniuses in any field. I think is really fast. Like I don't listen to classical music, but if you told me about like Beethoven and how
His come
he
up.
went deaf and wrote symphonies, how do you do that? Did I
Crazy.
get that right?
I
Okay.
think the same
I
way.
was like, was that Bach?
One of them. One of those
the
people.
same way you
Wait,
can
was it
Genius.
Mozart? Okay, well, it's Beethoven. Yeah, I got that right.
deaf.
fire. That was a nice
Yeah,
trivia.
I'm
slash
not a
Jeopardy
genius,
moment.
clear. Like I don't even know classical
If I had to
music,
guess
but
how that happens, it's the same way you can see sounds when you're on acid. There's
Yeah.
like a level of.
I think there's something to that. Like why
too
Chris
much.
O'Bally loved drugs.
I was wondering if
It
that
like,
guy
it
ever
like
did
unlocks
cocaine just
your
because
genius, I think.
I think there's yeah. Whatever's
We've
animating
experimented
you.
with psychedelic drugs, and both of us expressed the feeling that it helped us to understand things on a different level. To
But
have
then the thing is, like, thousands, however many people have shared your same experience. They all say the same thing of like,
I went to the other side.
your sense of reality is like shifted forever.
Different.
True.
Different.
So true.
That's kind of crazy.
Would you ever dabble?
No, I personally would not, just because like my family has such addictive tendencies. I like I said, I quit WoW for like how long? 15 years.
Damn.
The minute I started playing, it was like that. I was just locked in.
Didn't miss a
Could
beat.
do 6 hours a day, like in the middle of residency, like it's nothing. Caffeine, which is it's funny, they call caffeine like one of the most mildly addictive substances. I'm like, I could not quit this ever. I couldn't imagine. Like, how do you go up from there?
Bro, yeah, caffeine is crazy.
I've got my dad is adopted. My last name's Dope, but I'm not even sure exactly. But he's adopted within his own family. So like his great aunt, or like I guess his mom's aunt, is the one that adopted him. But his original parents, super addict personality, like literally drug addicts.
Yeah.
At a point.
I think like my grandpa, like I think we have a history of like alcoholism on my dad's side. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
All of that goes to our family too.
Yeah.
So I struggle with the video games too. Like
Yeah.
I get locked in on a game I like to play. Right now it's Madden Ultimate Team.
Oh, nice.
Just it feels like I'm a businessman every day.
That's cool.
I love it. I could talk about it, but I get it. I get what you're saying about the video games
Yeah.
too. With the psychedelic drugs, for me, and that's why I can't do Adderall, because I want to do it every day.
For sure, yeah.
That one
I
is
would,
crazy.
I would be,
That one's
especially
crazy.
if it's productive.
That's
Oh,
it.
God.
It's
Yeah.
scary because you'll clean your whole fucking house.
Yes.
And your
Yes.
neighbor's house.
Yeah. Once I heard Zach Bakir, he was like, he took Vyvanse once. He was like, well, I studied for like 24 hours, did well on my test, went and had the best workout of my life, went home, cleaned the whole apartment, like did my taxes, all on one pill. I was like, okay, that's nuts.
It's insane. It's crazy.
It's pretty rampant, I think, in medical school for sure. I was lucky.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never, I never
college
did
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
College in general, I think.
Exactly,
I remember hearing
right.
about that like in junior year of high
Yeah.
school. Like that was like
Oh, really?
a thing that was like coming up in culture. It's like college kids are taking Adderall. Watch out. It's like, oh shit.
Good
Yeah.
name too, actually, for like a drug, Adderall.
Right? It's not minus roll.
Yeah.
Or negative roll.
Right. Like Vyvanse kind of sounds like I'm not sure what this is.
It reminds
but,
me
like,
of Vivid.
you hear Adderall and you're like, that probably is a good thing.
Yeah.
Dude,
But like those people, like they just won't eat for the whole day.
Yep.
You know, this kills your appetite.
I did Adderall for like 28 days in a row when we were writing our first album, but I was also like moving to San Antonio / breaking up with my girlfriend and performing as many times as I could during
Yeah.
that span too. I was just like, let me just fully embrace this new life of I'm going to move to San Antonio. I'm going to be a performer. I'm going to have to leave this relationship. It's like a lot. So then I did. But by the end of that month, dude, like I was a wreck, bro. Like a wreck. I definitely lost a ton of weight.
Yeah.
Was feeling like I was going to die. You know what I'm saying? Like needed to sleep for like 2 or 3 days straight to recover.
Wow.
And at that point, I wasn't performing well. Like it's not helping at that point. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So that's when I realized like this thing is like it's a plus, minus.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of like you get to the point with caffeine where it's like if you need caffeine to put you back to zero, that's not productive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that only takes like 3 days.
yeah,
though.
when you get dependent on it.
Yeah.
So where you need to wake up to
Diminishing returns.
have coffee to feel
Yeah.
like woken up. You know?
Mhm.
You don't sleep because you drank too much coffee, so then you drink more coffee, and then you can't sleep.
So for me, the risk is
The
low.
vicious cycle.
begins.
The risk is low with caffeine, especially
Very
just
low,
in the
yeah.
sense where you're like a very healthy 30-year-old male.
Yeah, 30. How old am I?
Yeah, we're
Oh.
31.
How old? 30.
31. 29.
29.
29.
I've celebrated my 29th birthday twice.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. So you could drink like a sailor for like 3 or 4 years and then stop and probably not have like crazy ramifications on your health.
Yeah.
So you've got, I guess what I'm saying is you shouldn't use it, but you've got some wiggle room. So I think like with that being said, the caffeine, the stakes are so low that I feel like you shouldn't pick up alcoholism for 4 or 5 years. But if you did coffee for 4 or 5 years straight, I don't think that's like,
No, I mean we've been drinking coffee for thousands of years. It's one of the most studied substances. I think people.
so that's why I'm okay with the coffee, but I do weigh out these things in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm okay with like marijuana, but I also just use like the legal marijuana that they have, the CBD or the Delta 9 altered stuff, because I feel like the stakes are low. Like even if I'm
For sure,
addicted
yeah.
to that, you know what I'm saying?
It's all relative. I mean, relative to the things we're talking about, it's like one of the lowest
right,
risk things you could ever take.
right. And so so I wonder, do I need to be addicted to something to like? Otherwise, if I'm disciplined and not addicted to anything, is there a subtle fiend that's inside of me just waiting to be impulsive. And the longer I'm not impulsive, how strong is that impulsivity getting? Whereas if I have an outlet for that addictive personality and I know I'm going to do that later, then I think it chills it out. And it's like, okay, I get my time. It's not right now, but I get it. So that's kind of this argument that I have with myself that some outlet for the addictive personality might be good therapy for the addictive personality.
Yeah, I have those exact thoughts. I'm
Right.
like, I'm going to be addicted to something.
Right.
Might as well.
It's kind of fucked up to say that.
I might as well pick my battles.
Working
I
out.
do a lot of, well, at least it's not this.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, at least it's not, cocaine, whatever it may be, terrible,
Right.
worst thing
Dude, the
for
coke
you.
I'm
Like,
deathly afraid of.
could I drink less caffeine? Yes. Could there be way worse things that I'm doing? Yes, for sure.
Yeah, facts. With that, all of that being said, I have never once thought about being addicted to a psychedelic because it's so jarring.
Yeah.
That afterwards, this is quoting Joe Rogan, like you just want to go call your family, hang out with your friends, be a good person, clean your dishes, like just chill. You're like, okay, that was so intense. I want my little box, and I just want to be.
I want to be back to my normal day.
Can you imagine the first cavemen who thought he was eating real food and ate a bunch
He
of
probably
mushrooms and saw God?
It's like
That's honestly, it could be how religion was created, right?
people say Moses.
couldn't
Moses, the
Oh,
burning
no
bush.
doubt, yeah.
DMT burning bush.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's bushes with DMT on them in the area.
really.
Yeah, like naturally endogenous DMT. That if that tree would have been on fire and he would have inhaled that gas, he would have had a psychedelic experience.
Yeah.
It could have been something else, but it's possible.
Now we just think, oh, it's a homeless guy who got on drugs, and back then they were like a prophet. So he just was around at the right time. If he came around 2,000 years later, or however long it was, he'd be called a crazy person.
True.
In the cookie bin.
And what's kind of interesting is it's almost like some human pathologies kind of mimic that in a way. Like schizophrenia, people are seeing things they shouldn't be seeing.
Dude, I would love to talk with this about you. Wait, did I fuck that up?
Yes, that's okay.
Dude, I have this.
We're with it.
I feel like sometimes when I think about personality disorders or schizophrenia not being a personality disorder, neurology disorder.
Yeah.
I don't know the correct terminology, but I feel like what the end result that you end up with is like almost like a misfiring of what a natural thing should be, right?
Yeah.
So what is happening with schizophrenia people when they're having paranoia delusions?
Yeah. I mean, they have mapped it in their brain. They are truly, their visual and auditory cortexes are like firing. Why that's the case, nobody knows, but they're seeing and hearing things legitimate to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even that we aren't.
Okay, but now not as a doctor or as any emotional attachment. If we could just think from that psychedelic place, like why would that happen?
So, I mean, everything can be explained biochemically.
Okay.
So these drugs you take are releasing certain neurotransmitters. However, that pathway, I don't know exactly what it is, but they're basically telling your brain you are seeing, hearing things, or sensing things. But they flood it, right? So it's more sensory than you would like from a normal light or a normal smell. In a way, kind of like it's the same way. Like if I eat food, my brain releases dopamine. Cocaine is like a synthetic or natural drug that does the same thing times 1,000. That's why it's like so addicting.
Okay.
Is because it's like forcing your brain to experience so much dopamine release at one time that you're like, I have to have that all the time because that was the greatest experience like I've ever had.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you can do that somehow. It's all like, even with schizophrenia, like something in their wiring went wrong. And what's weird about it is it manifests later in life. Like usually like your late 20s is when it starts to come about. So like some people think you can have triggers, like some trauma can rewire you in some way that'll cause that, stuff like that. But for whatever reason, their brain is like off biochemically and releasing things in a way that it shouldn't be in a normal sense. But yeah.
I just find it so fascinating.
It's pretty cool. Yeah,
Do you think
neuroscience is cool.
Is it possible that they're seeing something that is there that we're not seeing?
Sure. I would not rule anything out.
But
I
like
think the cool thing about the brain is it can make you do or see or feel anything.
there's literal
And it
examples.
is real. Like
That's our hub, or that's like where all of our experiences generated.
right.
From,
I mean,
you
they're
know what I'm
learning
saying?
a lot more about these diseases people once thought were kind of fake, like fibromyalgia. I don't know if you've heard of that. But it's like these people
I've heard the name.
who just have so much pain that we could never explain. And it's kind of just like they're being rewired. It's like such a weird. Your brain is like for some reason telling these people you are having a ton of pain right now, even though we can't explain why.
No, my dad's one of those people. He
Yeah.
goes through chronic pain.
It's
and
awful. Yeah, it's awful.
He's doing like he buys kilos of what's it called?
Cocaine.
No.
Like narco, like
No, not. I mean, he used to get a lot of pain pills because he has had a lot of surgeries his whole
Yeah.
life. And then it was always a joke like, yo, save those pain pills because, you know, those are great. Anytime you have to take a pain pill because you're hurting, it's going to be an awesome time. So enjoy that. But like, I didn't feel like he was like recreationally using it, but he just was using them a lot and then did get to a place where he was kind of addicted and then ultimately did get cut off from like, got put on a list where doctors can't prescribe him any more
for
pain
sure, yeah.
pills. So now he's taking Kratom, self-prescribed Kratom by like a lot. Like, because it's such a low amount of like relief that he's taking like a lot of pills every day. And it's just like, it gets to the point where as a child of his where I'm like, you know, is this pain real? You know, how bad is it?
yeah.
Are you on this list because you're a drug addict? Or
Right.
are you getting ignored by the medical industry? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but hearing you say that stuff is real, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, chronic pain is a very interesting field right now. Like, some people are skeptical, but I think more and more research is coming out that, I mean, it's legit. Why it's legit, it doesn't really matter, right? Like the point is they are feeling more pain than is acceptable. But some of that is because, like, in the same way you drink coffee and get addicted to, or your tolerance builds, when you take a lot of pain medicine, you kind of like lower your threshold for pain. So like when you're not taking pain medicine, you're just like more susceptible to even minor.
More sensitive.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of that's not a great place to be.
But that's why the tough it out
Yeah.
motto is good.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Pain is it's just, is it back pain? by chance?
It's chronic headaches.
That is
chronic migraines.
incredibly tricky. Like headaches, I mean, that's like a whole different ballgame. It's like,
Really?
yeah, you just can't, we just don't know enough about headaches to say like why some people get such bad migraines and respond to some. So there's like some migraines are basically your brain's vessels dilate or constrict. Like they think it's something about perfusing your brain, like blood flow there. So there's a medicine that constricts those blood vessels and they treat some migraines, but it's like not a big percentage. So it's kind of a multifactorial thing.
Yeah, there's not one.
Yeah, it's
dead-
like all these, they're
dead
called
set.
like psychosomatic diseases where like part of what they're feeling is just in their head, and why
Yeah.
that's the case, nobody knows. But to say it's not real, I think is really
Right.
unfair to a lot of those patients because they definitely feel it.
Yeah.
And the worst thing we can do is say they're faking because then they're not going to trust you. And then it's just going to get worse.
I think the
you know,
problem
probably.
with faking, I think my dad probably did some amount of trying to play the industry
Yeah.
or like trying to say what he had to say to get what he needed to get.
Yeah, it's like the boy who cried wolf, right? And then when he's actually in pain, well, it's like, well, we've already been marked.
Or even just like, let's say he has pain and goes to the doctor and then they send him home and they don't really take him seriously. So now when he makes the next appointment, he has to somehow say something different
Yeah.
that captures the essence of the help that he needs.
Yeah.
And I think that if you go through that process too many times, okay, well, let me talk to this doctor and try to tell him this way. Okay,
Right.
that's how you end up getting like shunned by the stuff. And I don't expect you to have the answer. It's interesting. It's interesting.
It's very interesting. The other weird thing is like all of these sort of related diseases come in clusters. So like people with chronic headaches are also likely to have chronic fatigue and
yeah.
other chronic pain
does.
disorders and depression and
does.
like, you know, so it's like how much of that is psychological?
Right.
How much of that is
At what level do we still
Physical.
owe? At what point do we say, "No, you gotta figure that out on your own"?
that is I think you have to bite it in the butt early. If like at your dad, I don't think it would be at that point fair to say
Right
you're on
at
your
this
own,
point, because
right,
he's
yeah.
like suffering pretty badly. But
yeah, I do agree to some extent. Like it just feels like people are less tolerant of pain and discomfort, and they want a pill for everything now
Yeah.
at this point. So that's not a good place to be.
True.
But at the same point, like you do want to take everybody and their concerns serious, I think.
That's a great answer.
But the
Solid answer.
like what you're, what was I was going to say something about your dad. That was kind
to
of
wrap up
interesting.
what I was saying about him is when you get that gastric bypass,
Yeah.
they cut your vagus nerve
Yeah.
in your stomach, and lately he thinks that has to do with some of the chronic pain he's been having. Is that maybe when it tried to reconnect?
Yeah.
Is that maybe the wiring wasn't exactly right?
This is just random, but we have like your gut communicates with your brain. Like it sends feedback there. I mean, it send like you can have pain coming from your GI tract and stuff like that. I mean, there's no doubt. A lot of that stuff is so like more and more research is coming out that like your whole body is connected. It's actually kind of crazy. Your like gut flora determines your brain development. It's like it's kind of nuts.
I guess I think it's that deep, or I think it's like there might be a more abstract realm that we need to consider, because I think it could be like you have your brain's in communication with everything in your physical body, but I think your mind is something else. Your mind is not your brain. Your mind is like the culmination of all your like beliefs and like your thoughts and your trauma and like your memory. So I think maybe sometimes people have their brain creating things in their body that is a result of what's going on in their mind, and their mind 100%, is like
100. Like
who knows?
Your brain. I don't know if you guys listen to David Goggins, but like
I love him.
I love that guy.
I love that guy too. I do realize he's kind of a little bit of like a psychopath,
a little bit,
like a little bit.
Sure.
But like, if I could tell the mass population one thing, is just like your mind will always try and trick you to do things that are easier and oftentimes like less beneficial for you. Like 100%. It always wants the easy way out.
100%.
But I mean, just in like to your point where you're saying like
conservation,
I fully believe your brain can manifest, your mind can manifest physical symptoms. No doubt. Like no doubt. It's very weird. Yeah. There's a cool study. They did two studies now that from like, it's like the 90s and 2000. They told these guys, we're going to give you the strongest. Okay, we're going to have you all bench for like 8 weeks. Whoever gets the strongest, we're going to give you steroids for another 8 weeks. So they found the group. They took the guys who got the strongest, told them they were getting steroids. They didn't give them steroids. Those dudes got way stronger than they did the first few weeks when they didn't think they were on steroids.
Right.
The thought of having steroids.
Did they like give them like a placebo shot or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Made them get stronger. Like their mind manifested that because they thought they were on steroids.
Dude, this is a dangerous.
Then they told them we didn't give you steroids. They dropped its strength.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they've replicated those findings actually. So
really?
Yes, it's very funny.
Holy crap!
It's very funny.
Okay,
the thought of that you're taking steroids makes you stronger.
So what you believe to be true will determine your biochemistry?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it like. I think it plays a part. I wouldn't say like, it wouldn't always manifest, right? You know what I mean? Like, but it's certainly a part of it.
Okay.
Because you have DNA, like that doesn't.
Right.
Like you can't change.
You can't think and become taller.
There's a huge proportion of who you are just because of what your parents gave you.
Right.
But then like the combination of like environmental factors and what you're thinking and all that stuff every day also plays in. So it's kind of like this infinite web of like what you experience and then what your genetics say you're going to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you do have some kind of power to have a belief system. Like, for instance, people say that there's a study that says if you have a religion that you follow, that you're a certain percentage less likely to incur like depression.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time.
And so I think that there's some belief system, like you said, it just plays into it, right? Where you could think a certain thing about reality, and then your whole body's going to react as if that's true if you truly believe it, you know?
Even just your mindset. Like if there's so much data showing like your emotional status, like it's basically just how you want it to be. If you like, just being a positive thinker, like you basically, right? Like you're just going to be a happier person if the way you can choose how to respond to stress is kind of the thought. Like you can be stressed about it or you can accept it and like deal with it in a positive way and reframe it.
Yeah.
That's another interesting thing a lot of people talk about is reframing your stressors. I mean, you can't like reframe being stuck in traffic. I don't know how anybody would do that. Like,
I'm not stuck in traffic. I'm listening to an audiobook.
This is a good thing because I'm listening to Trump on Joe Rogan for 3 hours that I wouldn't have been, like seriously doing stuff like that is kind of a way people will have
maybe the story you're telling yourself,
like hacked themselves into being more positive and stuff like that. Yeah.
It's badass, dude.
Yeah. I think
fascinating
it is
stuff.
It's crazy because I think we're
super cool.
It's I don't know. There's I guess we're trying to kind of hitting a wall as far as like because I think there's the truths on both sides. You can definitely like create your reality almost with your mindset.
Yeah.
And but you can't make yourself taller. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can't change it. You can't change certain things only with your mental. But sometimes if you have the mindset of like trying to have that better improvement, then it'll I think some of the things will just come to you as you have that positive mindset, almost like a magnet.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. But I think there might be, like, so I guess the question is like, what's the limit to that? You know, how much do we really create our,
Like what percentage?
Yeah, how much does it really play a factor?
Who knows?
I mean, dude, if you get to a point where you're chronically depressed at 50 and you've been chronically depressed for 20 years versus like if 20 years ago you could have had someone in your life that was influentially helping you reframe things in a positive manner, the difference between your life in those 20 years is like massive. Like it couldn't be much bigger than that.
Right. No,
you know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying?
people can hate on David Goggins all they want, but like the proof's in the pudding. How many people have said you changed my life forever by just like telling me to stop being a
It's by
bitch?
telling me, it's by telling
Literally,
your
like,
story.
being
yeah.
tough, like being seriously, being tough goes a long way.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. Just being like, just don't be a bitch today, Austin.
Yeah.
It goes a long way, actually. It's kind of simple, but
Yeah, no, I know Joe Rogan's a big proponent of that. He's just like getting into the ice bath, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to get into there, but like, I force myself to get into it.
I'm a big believer that like exposing yourself to discomfort and struggle, whether it be physically, like the ice bath, working out, stuff like that, it makes so much everything in your life easier.
Big time.
Right? Like I work out first thing in the morning. I'm like, the hardest part of my day is done. I'm just going to go to work. Like most people wake up and they're like, oh, I have to go to work. I'm like, oh, I get to go to work. Ooh, done with the workout.
I already conquered this thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, seriously, that's just from a mindset standpoint is like huge for how you view the rest of your day.
Yeah, 100%. It's like there was a point, I guess I would say like 6 months ago, I guess we were talking on the podcast about how it just came about like life is so comprised of just what you do day to day. And then I found out that most of the time that what you're doing day to day, week to week is like laundry, dishes, and groceries.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of your life. Once you become like 30,
Yeah.
and when you're like an adult and you're like, oh shit, I gotta take care of my family, gotta take care of the household,
Diapers.
all that shit. You'll be buying groceries.
Yeah.
But like, so then I started to incorporate doing the dishes in the morning, like every morning. Just like as soon as I wake up, like make it part of the morning routine, like walk the dog, feed the dog, and then do the dishes.
Yeah.
And like after I do the dishes and like make the bed, it's like I don't know, it's such a big momentum boost. You know what I'm saying? There's such small, minute things.
Yeah.
But it's the mentality behind it. It's just
Sometimes
like I'm going in the right direction.
we joke. We'll do like an hour of chores. The rest of the day, we'll just be like, yeah. I like Swiffered the floor last Saturday, you know, where you like spray the stuff and like scrub it down. Oh my God. I was on top of the world.
Hell yeah.
Seriously, it was life changing.
Feels so good.
Like finishing all your tasks, like being productive is actually kind of a weird like drug in a way, right? You like
Big
feel
time.
so accomplished.
Big time.
Feeling accomplished actually is a pretty awesome feeling in life, you know?
Yeah. Amazing. Even just sometimes you got to get your moment. Like if you're having a bad week and you can just break through one night for a couple hours and be productive, you can like kind of get yourself out of a little hole you're in, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy. We're talking about it. It's just doing the dishes, it's small little things, but you can reshape your week. And then maybe that 1 week carries momentum into the month, get you a nice back half of the year.
Yeah.
You could really change things for you, but it's also fluid. Like we talk about, like when you see a homeless person on the side of the street, like it's always kind of jarring, right? Just like, I don't know if you like. I look around for some money. If I have like a couple dollars, you know, I always try to give it to them. Or I've been in phases of my life where I kind of like look away from them and don't want to take them in. And now I'm in the place where I just kind of let myself be jarred by it, and I just let myself wonder, like, you know, what was this person's life like? How did they get here?
Yeah, for sure.
How would I get here? Is that possible for me? What the fuck? But then I think when I'm in that place, I'm like, this is probably just a couple bad decisions. A few bad months led to a bad breakup, led to a college dropout. Maybe you moved away to try to why don't they have any family around? You know, when you see someone just on the streets.
Yeah.
But it happens, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I get real fascinated with talking about how do we not let that happen? Because I guess I don't think those people planned out on being there, you know?
Let's say that bring up the question of like, do you believe in like a predetermined nature of things? Like, are they just predeterminedly going to be like that? Like that's like the story or the character that they're playing out in this movie of life?
I certainly don't.
Right?
I don't think so. Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't know. I personally, I would be offended if all my hard work was predetermined. I like to think that I did that, but
I did something.
No, well, I mean, so here's the
showed
thing,
up.
right? Like your genetics are predetermined, so in a way, like some of it is
For sure.
But yeah, no way is it predetermined. I don't believe that for a second.
I don't believe so.
If you want to tell me like something out there is watching over and like set things into motion and stuff like that, like sure. But I do think we all have free reign in what we do and
Yeah.
impact our lives.
Free will's real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I
I
believe
think-
so.
If I thought about the worst thing I could possibly go do right now, and then I went and did it, I don't think that whoever wrote my
Murder
story.
or what?
I
What
don't,
are we
even,
talking
I don't
here?
even want to get there. I'm just thinking about thinking
Okay.
about it. But just as a thought experiment.
Talking about thinking about it.
Follow me. Whatever the worst thing if you could imagine yourself to do, if you went and did it right now, I don't think that let's say that this story
Pretty bad.
sure, get as gnarly as you want. But if it is predetermined, who would have written that for your story?
Yeah, God would be an asshole, right? Like,
That'd be some shit.
let's make you a murderer.
Right? Even an asshole probably wouldn't do it. It doesn't make a lot of
gonna
sense.
have you graduate from medical school and then you're gonna murder.
Like what's
You're gonna
the,
learn to murder.
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that it doesn't translate with what we know about life itself. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Or stories itself. Like things make sense. Things usually happen for a reason, or the reasons revealed to us later, or
Yeah.
like
You know, I guess everything is like a manifestation of what was before you. So in a
Yeah.
way, like your future is predetermined by your past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't go somewhere you're always influenced by what you experienced in a way.
Right.
So like
Mm-hmm.
if I became a murderer, that was probably because something effed up happened in my past or whatever, or
Yeah.
biochemically I became
Well, I guess the idea I'm proposing is that free will is at the place where you could do anything in the world right now.
Yeah.
But then it would become the story of Austin. And if your story of Austin is predetermined, it's
terrible.
outside
That's a
of
terrible title for like a book or a movie.
It's an
by the
album,
way.
dude.
Story of Austin.
That's the Book of Austin, bro.
I'm like, dang, nobody went and watched that movie.
right. No, but I'm watching it right now. I love
Starring Leonardo DiCaprio,
Your movie's great.
Christopher Nolan.
it. I would love it. But all that say,
In a world.
if we're accepting that it is predetermined, your free will kind of just like, I mean, if you went and did something heinous, who would have written that story? That doesn't check out for me.
Yeah, probably my wife.
You would like, all right, this character, we're just gonna fucking build him up to get him in this
Yeah,
great
like
position.
why let me get this far to like ruin it all? You know,
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I guess some people snap, sure. But I think, like you said, it's maybe because of stuff that happened in the past, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of leading up to it. But our free will makes me feel like it's not predeterministic, but I guess everyone kind of says that, right? Everyone says we have free will. So, but I guess the thing you would pose is your free will predetermined?
Mm.
Are you
quite understand what that means?
It's a
like
oxymoron of a
Yeah.
question.
the way that your brain works, like your decisions that you make, they're all up here already.
Yeah, well, some people debate whether you're actually ever making decisions, right? When you're thinking like, what do I want to eat? Some people would argue you already have decided
right.
subconsciously, but you just don't know it consciously. You know what I mean?
Mm.
There's like
Maybe, yeah.
there's a lot of weird theories about like subconscious thinking versus conscious thinking.
Yeah, have
like-
you dabbled into like any scientific or any studies that like where like spirituality and medicine and like overlap at all?
No clue. I know there's like some data that people who are more religious are likely to have like better outcomes in the hospital, which is kind of interesting. Whether that's like, they know people who don't have like family when they're in the hospital are more likely to like pass away or have poor outcomes. So like,
Really?
we have a lot of data to support the impact of like social relationships on human longevity and stuff like that. So I think that's similar to religion, gives you like a community or a sort of like having a sense of belonging or being that like pushes you to fight and keep going and stuff like
going.
that is kind of powerful in a way. But I don't know if you have like more specific questions about like what you mean with how
I'm
that
just
ties
gonna-
in.
No, not
Um,
really. What were we talking about before that?
If your free will is predetermined,
Oh, yeah.
like the choices you're going to make are already kind of instilled in you.
That I am a little more uncertain about. I do
Right.
kind of think it's possible that
It could be.
we are making decisions and are not making decisions at the same time. Like
I think so too.
I-
I think it's both. I think it's both.
I
That's
hate
why-
thinking that, but I do think that might be true. You know, like I want to think that I'm going to go outside right now and like
Do what you plan to
I'm
do.
gonna choose what I want to eat for dinner.
Yes.
When in reality, like my brainstem already knows. You know, like what I'm gonna. I don't know.
Based on some formula of what you have what you do eat normally.
Yeah,
and what's
yeah.
up
Who
next.
Who knows? Or like whatever current composition of chemicals in my brain makes me crave chicken and broccoli. Whereas like tomorrow I may have more of this and less of this. That's what makes me crave beef.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
I do think there is a physical explanation for like everything that's mental. We just can't necessarily explain it yet, just because there's infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I'm so into this. So, oh man, my train of thought lost.
No, I just think that there's a. I think it's both. I think we've mentioned it before, but it's like I think it's your belief system, but also it could be a spiritual thing. But I think there might be something out there that has a predetermined path for you that would be the optimum path for you, even if you don't know it yet, because we're so limited in our scope of just what we know about ourselves. And
That I for sure, I'm open to anything. Like I do think there's just stuff we can't explain.
Oh yeah,
You know, so if you tell me 30 years from now they find some discovery and they're like, there's like a above consciousness like level that you can get to. I mean, who knows, right? Like that. What's that Bradley Cooper movie?
Limitless.
Yeah, exactly. Like that.
Yeah.
There's like you can unlock a different level of.
Yeah, Sad God is like a yogi from the Eastern world who expresses that if you could meditate and like get to this place in your mind, that you can like leave your body and
I mean, those monks like light themselves on fire and don't feel pain. You can like convince your brain to not feel pain. It's kind of actually
walking across the hot coals. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
they're into some wild stuff.
One of my favorite David Goggins quotes is when he's talking about how like he meets God at the Heaven's Gate. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, fire.
And he's like, what does he say? Like
You could have been this.
he's like Dave, Navy SEAL, like, ultra marathon. Like that's not me. He's like, no, but it's what you should have been.
Could have been you.
Oof. Oof.
That's
I'm
my
like, dude,
thing.
that guy's absolute banger. Like absolute banger. Like that should be in the Hall of Fame of written word somewhere out there.
Yeah.
It's in my Hall of Fame.
So good.
It's in my Rolodex of
So
like
good. I could watch that
Transformation.
every morning, like taking a dump before going to the gym.
Yep.
Just like, let's go.
So if your life is predetermined, like the way you're going to eat food is predetermined, I think David Goggins can come along and drop that message on you and change some of that predetermination.
For sure. Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
And that's fucking magic.
Yeah.
That I'm interested in that stuff that can get us out of what...
The thing with like predetermined is I do think it's predetermined, but it's at the level of like nanoseconds. You know what I mean? Like something we can't even perceive, which is open to changing every nanosecond in a way.
Every instant, every
Like,
every
you know,
moment
the
could be a-
butterfly effect
Right.
is just like infinitely small. Like me going like this instead of like that.
could change a tsunami.
Yeah. Or like going like that instead of like that. Like all, you know what I mean? You can like get that to the micro level. Like all of those things.
Yeah. Like the infinite
Can
parallel
change, yeah.
universes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's too many.
exactly.
It's
Infinite
crazy.
options.
It's cool stuff. And for all that philosophy talk, here we are though in our life, like still just going through our
Yeah, no, I'm dumb. Like I
habitualities.
literally just go home and play World of Warcraft. I'm like, I'll never think about this again. Like,
No, I'm sure you
Like-
will.
Are you playing with anybody? Is like Ryan back on?
I have like one of my co-residents is the guy who got me back in.
Oh shit.
But he's like in his hard years, so
plug.
he doesn't really play at the moment. But like I joined his guild, and then it fell apart. So like I'm not really playing with anybody at the moment.
Just got you
The
back
problem with Ryan, I have played with him a couple times. He has like 2 young daughters, so he's like, I'm gonna get on at 11 p.m. to like 11:20 p.m. and then they're gonna wake up, and then I gotta like so he's just very inconsistent.
Very limited schedule.
Inconsistent. So,
right there with them.
but they have like a random dungeon finder, so I just level. It's quite like peaceful.
I love that.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. They made a
What's-
remake.
I was just what's next for you? Do you plan on doing radiology for a long time?
Yeah. By rest of my life, hopefully.
Really? Nice.
That's why I can't get LASIK surgery. They don't mess with your eyes. You don't want to risk that. I mean, you can, but I don't think I will.
Yeah.
So probably stay in San Antonio.
Nice.
Yeah, for the very near future.
What do you think about San Antonio?
The not near future.
For the foreseeable
The
future.
long term. Yeah, the long term.
Nice.
Very near future would be like the next few days.
Couple
or
of
something.
months.
Yeah. So like I said, so my last year residency, then next year I do a full year of just brain and spine MRI stuff. And then after that, I got to get a big boy job. So hopefully get some
Hell yeah.
dollars.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm rooting for you. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool because it's like I feel like with anybody else you'd have to be like, man, I hope you keep going, But I feel like you got it, dude. Like you're just a machine. That's tight, dude.
Yeah, it's nice. I do feel like in some I'm successful because I'm so disciplined, but at the same time, like it is a little I'm very rigid. Like when my routine get disrupted, like it causes me a lot of stress and stuff like that. So like family members, like her family is like so go with the flow, and they're just like, oh, I don't get it. Why does he have to like go home and eat his protein oatmeal every day, you know, like after he go. Why does he have to go to the gym every day at like 5 a.m? So like to some extent it's a little like I don't know, OCD tendency kind of stuff, but I don't know.
Type
It's
A.
kind of like what we were talking about with the addiction thing where I'm like, well, it could be worse, right? Like
Yeah.
at least I turned it into a positive.
True.
I'm not like OCD. Like I gotta like turn off the light. Like every I gotta, like I'm not doing the podcast in the corner like
Right.
like jiggling your light or something.
And it could be like that. Like you let the neuroses get out of hand.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's you did an amazing job. I'm like, you're the man, bro.
I just funneled it to like the right neuroticism. You know, like
yeah.
exercise and I don't know, healthy eating sometimes.
Yeah, that was it.
I still often
Yeah, you still run, right?
will engage. No, yeah, that's the thing.
No more running?
No, my back is like done
Oh,
running. Yeah, I don't know
shoot.
if so. In med school is like when I super got into lifting. You and I started lifting, and then I was like kind of more inconsistent in college, and then I got into med school, and like it just became a big outlet for me. I was more into like powerlifting actually, so I just like
I remember you talking about that.
like the 3 to 5 rep range on like deadlift, bench, all that stuff just destroyed my joints. And then like one day, my last year of med school, I like had like shooting butt pain, and like basically one of my vertebrae, like they should basically be lined up on top of each other, but one was in front of the other, and it can pinch your nerves. So that's what was happening. And they were like, cut that out. So I cut that out, and it went away. Then I started running, but then it came back, and they were like, it's gotten a lot worse, so you got to stop running.
Damn,
Yeah.
that sucks.
For like forever, yeah.
Oh fuck.
Fuck.
Yeah. I
Forever?
loved running.
No more hoops.
How long has
No.
that been?
No hoops.
Oh
No
my
hooping?
dude.
No hoops. Yep.
Just shooting.
I can't load my spine. Like if I jump and land, it'll hurt my back.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
I'll show you,
My
the
man.
X-ray.
My
Actually,
heart goes out to you.
it's brutal. Yeah, I ran a marathon in 22, I think,
Nice, dude.
and then was like training for another one, and then it all of a sudden started.
Damn, that sucks, dude.
It's okay. I've gained like 20 pounds since then. It's kind of crazy.
You
How
look
many
great.
calories you burn? Yeah. I'm trying to bulk up. You know, I'm trying to get like you guys.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm trying to be MJ 39.
Come on,
Let's go.
381.
Let's go. A1.
Oh, 381.
Yeah.
What is it? 421? What's the highway out there? 481?
281?
410.
281.
281,
Yeah, 410 and 281. That's what I'm thinking.
Do you like San Antonio?
Well, I love it.
Really?
Yeah. How about you
Nice.
guys?
I love it.
I love it.
I love this place.
It's chill.
There's things I wish.
Actually, let me show you. I saw this in the ER one night. It's like
oh, jeez.
someone fell on a sword and went through their head.
Oh my god.
Are you serious?
See that big white
That's a
stick?
sword?
Yeah. There's a sword that
Holy
went through their
shit,
spine.
bruv.
They died?
No.
Oh.
That's the crazy part.
What?
Right? Yeah, they lived.
They got stabbed.
Were they
with a
okay?
sword.
So we're the only trauma. Most of there's like a military hospital, but we see almost all the trauma in San Antonio and like outside of it. So I've seen like some real crazy shit. Wear a
Dude.
helmet.
Where? For
Pub-
motorcycles?
Public podcasters.
Yeah.
Wear a fucking
even
helmet.
TSA.
ATVs.
Helmets.
Like those like
For the love of God.
people like riding around their ATVs in like neighborhoods and stuff, not wearing helmets. Like I mean, those people will destroy their heads.
Dude,
Yeah. I'm trying to find my spine.
That's traumatic.
I'm always comparing San Antonio to Round Rock, and I like
It's a
it
lot
because
bigger here.
yeah, and it's more spaced out, so it's a little more chill sometimes versus like being compact and
Yeah, it's spaced out.
Wild.
It's big.
Okay, I found my X-ray. It's kind of hard to. So like, you see how all those vertebrae are like lined up on top of each other. I don't know if you can see that.
Mhm.
Did you get you were in contacts, Justin?
No.
No.
I can see. I can
Oh,
see
really?
close though. Yeah.
So this is like, it's kind of hard to see, but this one here is like, you see how forward it is compared to the one above it or below it. Sorry, so there's this one below it, and then there's that one that's like way forward. So these are like calling it all in a line, and then this one is like slipped a half on top of
it's
that
supposed to
one.
be back in that space.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
So
it's
that's your butt spine right now.
Yeah. So eventually they're gonna have to put rods in there and like basically fuse it so that it won't move anymore. But it not right now.
When's that gonna happen?
Don't know.
Fuck.
Basically,
That
I
sucks.
go as long as I can, tolerating pain. So,
yeah.
but it's pretty manageable. I can still lift.
I was saying you squat.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, don't squat.
Can't load your back.
Can't load spine.
Can you do leg
I can
press?
do leg press.
Okay.
I can do RDLs, like Romanian deadlift,
Mhm.
but not conventional deadlift.
Do you get heavy on RDLs?
Yeah.
Does it scare you?
A little bit.
Yeah, I can't imagine, dude. Jesus.
A little bit.
A
But
little bit, yeah. A little scared.
I never did heavy RDLs till Justin got me on them.
they rock.
They
yeah.
rock, dude. They changed
They're
it.
raunchy.
They will light up your hamstrings like
Oh, yeah.
nobody's business.
Your butt, your
Yeah.
hammies.
But I think Justin has like way better flexibility than I do. So I like go like maybe like upper third of my shins,
Okay.
you know, so not like super low.
Not tapping the
And
ground.
I definitely make sure yeah, I can't touch the ground. Like
Mm-hmm.
part of this is what part of the reason my hamstrings are so tight is like because of this, like slipping forward.
You ever thought about
Hold it all up.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
yeah.
I
It's
thought you
kind
were
of
saying that
you
the
don't
hamstrings
realize
cause the
how
spine.
connected everything is until like one thing goes bad.
Yeah, my fiance this morning, or like last night, she was like, "Oh, my leg hurts," and she's been experiencing foot pain like a little bit over the course of the last like couple weeks.
Yeah.
and then it like shot up like all the way up to her knee, like behind
Oh,
her
shit.
knee. But like, yeah, I was like, she's like, "Oh, it's like my leg or like my calf." And I was like, "No, I think it's your foot. You know, I think your foot is like just pulling all your shit.
Yeah.
It's you're feeling it behind your knee, but it's
Yeah.
originating from your foot."
Well, this caused the bottom of my foot to be numb. Every morning I would wake up with a numb foot because it's like the S1 nerve is being pinched so bad. But your spine expands like when you're awake. And so like during the day, I'm like pretty asymptomatic. When I first wake up, it's pretty bad.
That's what she was saying too. When she
Yeah.
first wakes up, her foot's like that.
I wonder if she's got back.
Maybe something with her back too.
It could be.
Yeah.
If she's having foot, leg, knee, that's a back issue,
Yeah.
actually.
Damn.
You can look into that.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but
There you are.
it's not
that's
a
hilarious.
doctor like this.
What a punchline.
No consults, but this sounds like a back issue to me, honestly.
I had some posture issues and back issues, lower back pain, lack of flexibility for like
Yeah.
the longest time. And the only time I ever got relief from that was doing yoga 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And it actually got so much better that I was like jarred. I was like,
Wow, really?
someone should have told me about this when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was also getting a lot of just like, I feel like what happens is that the stretch hurts so much and tolerate. The only way to tolerate it for as long as they want you to tolerate it for is to detach a little bit from the pain that you're feeling. And that process of letting go of what you're currently feeling to just hold the pose, that thing was really therapeutic.
Yeah.
I would,
Yoga's like very mental.
right.
Big time.
But also my posture was just phenomenally better, so much better flexibility, alleviation of all the back pain. But I don't think yoga would have helped your spine in that same sense.
Probably not. Yeah. The issue with mine is it's like actually screwed up, you know, like surgically.
Yeah.
Need to get in there with surgery.
Yeah.
Damn.
Not like run of the mill anymore.
Mhm.
But
Fuck.
yeah. That's that was predetermined, right? Like when I think with well, not necessarily.
Maybe
I think it was the squatting actually that like
that powerlifting.
So the condition I originally had is like you have 2 bones on the side of your vertebrae that are like doesn't matter. But anyway, some kids who play basketball basically who land all the time fracture them, and if those break, then it's allowed to slip forward. And so like mine were fractured probably for like a decade, but I never knew. And then when I started like powerlifting and you're putting all that under your spine, you can imagine how it will like, if it's broken, will like eventually, if I'm like squatting with a spine that's like this
Bent already.
and I put a load on it, it's going to like further
Push it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did that give you better posture in the meantime?
No, it looks awful actually. I look like kind of like a duck where like my butt shoots back and then like my belly, no matter how lean I've been, like it looks like sometimes I have a belly.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird.
That's annoying.
It is annoying, actually. Yeah, like if I couldn't like ever be a bodybuilder because like my aesthetics wouldn't be ideal. You know what I mean?
Dude, if you want to go all in, fuck it. We'll go to Tijuana, get some stem cells.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that spine right.
Again, stem cells. I don't know if stem cells can't like.
I just
pull
think
it
they probably
back.
help everything.
Probably,
Not necessarily
yeah,
just the
probably.
spine, but then some steroid
Yeah,
treatment.
I'll be like the most jacked guy with a back surgery. That'd be the
With
worst.
a gut.
Yeah, with a gut. Yeah, I'm like like the bodybuilders get the GH gut. It kind of looks like that, like sticks out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like
sometimes.
fucking rounded.
Yeah,
But still got the abs on it.
because it's like it's actually quite weird looking. Yeah, just because it's all like one thing is stuck back and then like the other thing pushes out. It's kind of, you can imagine if your spine is like pushing out into your belly's gonna like
Push
It's like
forward.
I was like meeting with a PT guy and he was like, I'm gonna just push it back, and I was like, okay. So he would dig into my stomach and like find it and just try to like push it back. That was back when it was like back when I first
It
got
slipped
diagnosed.
fully.
Yeah, so it was just a little back.
He's like, oh, let me get in there. Hold on.
No, he'd be like, let me push your aorta out of the way, and then
Holy fuck,
yeah,
bro!
yeah,
What?
yeah. He would feel for my abdominal aorta pulse, and then like move it and push on the bone
Did you get any relief?
through my stomach. It actually kind of felt good. Yeah, it's weird.
Did he get progress?
No,
Could he have saved you?
because then I moved here.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe he could have saved
Started
you.
residency. Yeah,
Maybe.
he said he was gonna like do a study on me. I was like, okay.
You could have changed.
I don't know if I want to be
science.
the. He was.
You
he
need
said,
to hit
like-
him up. You
He
need to
said
hit him
because
up.
I was like lean enough, basically, that he could actually feel my vertebrae. He was gonna try it, but
Dude.
yeah.
Damn, that's a crazy.
Could have been on the edge of some cutting edge
yeah,
science.
right. Like, or like he could have punctured my aorta.
yeah, right. Just in a fucking.
Like, how'd he die? Oh, well, PT poked his.
You just
He
ruptured
just
his
passed out.
spleen.
I don't know.
Just punched his aorta through his stomach.
Holy shit, dude. Well, yeah, you want to wrap up? I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
I got to
to
piss like a bad.
Yeah, let's go. It's like a racehorse, baby. My guy, fucking love you, man. Congratulations on your repurposing of your whatever your field of study. Happy for you. Happy for your wife as well. Love you, Talia. Appreciate y'all coming out.
Alrighty,
Dude, absolute pleasure.
it was a pleasure. This was a blast. See y'all in March for sure, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. We'll be
Where's the venue?
we'll be there for sure. It's called Spring Branch.
You better be there. What the hell?
Yeah, I'll be there. it's like maybe like 30 or 45 minutes away from here. Just like
Alrighty.
up 281 North near Canyon Lake, kind of.
Sweet.
Nice. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
awesome.
gonna be a great time.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your life.
Outro music.
Sub, follow, all the things.
Smash the
See you
like
later.
button. Love you guys.
Smash it.
Smash it.
Later.
Rolling through the city to the light show. Really ain't no telling where we might